Starting. We got it. We have it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's so happening. It really is happening. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Cinder Thresh, can you bring down this barrier?
Hello and welcome to Core. This is Core for Thursday, December 15th, 2022. I'm Scott John Smith, Bo Schwartz, and John Jagger. And we are here to make a show about video games. Big or small, we don't care. We like to talk about it all. And we're going to talk about the games we played this week as we hurtle toward the end of the year. Next week, we're planning on doing our big end-of-year wrap-up of our favorites. We're still kind of working on what that means, structure, and so on, so we don't do a 9-hour show. But yeah, we're going to do that next week, so we're looking forward to it. In the meantime, I don't know if you guys heard, something big happened, and we're going to dive into it right now. I mean, to some people, it may not be a big deal, but I think if you are at all interested in the world around Blizzard and Blizzard games, you probably already know this. Chris Metzen is coming back to Blizzard in a new role. Specifically, This is important to note, he's coming back to the Warcraft franchise, not Blizzard as the whole. All right, so he's not going to be like time with Overwatch and time with Diablo, any of that. Like, that's not the plan at this stage. The stage is, or the plan is at this stage is to work on the Warcraft universe, WoW being obviously chief among it, but other potential things in the franchise. Here's the actual announcement from John Haidt, general manager of Warcraft. He says, "It is with great joy that I announce Chris Metzen has joined the Warcraft leadership team as creative advisor. Chris's focus will initially be on World of Warcraft. Then his work will expand to other projects across this growing franchise." It's a fun way of putting that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chris was one of the original team members working on the Warcraft universe back when it began in 1994, and we are so happy to be reuniting him with the world he helped create. Signed, John Haidt. So that happened today. Lucky us, because we have a show today. I don't know where we want to start on this. I guess I would ask, what do you guys think overall? Like, what was your gut reaction when you heard that, guy responsible for so much of the writing, so much of the core of the game, so much of the lore and characters, was coming back, and knowing everything we know about Metzen and his sort of legacy at Blizzard? Was this good news in your mind? Was it bad news? John, what'd you think when you heard?
I was excited about it. I think Chris Metzen has an approach and a style to storytelling and universe creation that is fitting for the Warcraft universe. I think, there have been some amazing writers that have worked and creatives that have worked at World of Warcraft, but I think that we've seen what happens when Warcraft, specifically World of Warcraft, tries to outreach its capacity for storytelling through its ambition, and it doesn't go very well. And I think Chris has a knack for, I don't want to say more simple stories, because that makes it sound like it's a put down, and it's not meant to be, but what would be a better way to say it? Like a comic book story, right? Like something that has to share a medium. You're not just going to sit there and explain it, and you're not going to get in characters' heads and go through all the detail. You're setting up the framework that the visuals and the gameplay and the mechanics are going to help support. And I think he works really well in that capacity. And I think his world building, I think it's a testament to his style that the Blizzard properties have, in general, done really well when he was in a creative position there, because I think what they do matches and meshes well with the way he tells stories and approaches stories. So for me, I heard this and I was like, that's awesome, was immediate gut reaction. Second reaction was, I listened to all those interviews with you, Scott. I hope he's ready for this. I want that guy to do good. I hope he's prepared to dive back into this pool, because it sounded like it was rough business when he got out. And, he's a face and a person to know. And
that probably happened during their conversation, right? I mean, picture it. Who do you think reached out to who? I mean, Chris, as far as I know, he's enjoying his time making D&D books and painting Warhammer 40K figurines.
Oh, yeah.
If I retired and I had an ample money and the company's like, you want to come back? I'd be like, are all the people I don't like gone? Are you guys gonna like, take some stuff seriously? That here's some stuff I want to do. Like, if I come back, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Right? Is are we gonna do what I want with certain characters? Like, not that he strikes me as that kind of a demanding person, but I don't think money is what's going to entice somebody who's already had a career to come back and work on the properties.
You're 100%
I see him
correct.
tweeting about loving Warcraft when Dragonflight comes. He doesn't tweet much, but he's like, loves playing World of Warcraft. And so if the circumstances had to be right for someone retired and who's made a lot of money and who doesn't, even though he's a longstanding member, he's not considered the founder, I don't think. Not that doesn't take anything away from his contribution or significance, but I think they had to be like, listen, do you want to come back? And he'd be like, what's in it for me? So obviously I think there's good stuff in it for him, and I would take that as a good sign.
Yeah.
Considering, like I said, some of the stuff that impressed him upon my mind was a lot of the marketing he did to make the company look really good during that period before the fall. With the shops going around trying to promote the teams and internally and the shops and the craftsmen and all that stuff. I really lapped that stuff up in particular. So.
Yeah, he means it. I mean, I can say this, and I'm not trying to sound like a dink when I say this, but we talked a ton off the air, especially here recently. We talk every week, and this last time we spoke, back when we did the most recent interview, after that interview ended, we talked a lot about what kinds of things he wants out of life, like what he wants out of the future. And I think Bo is 100% correct. I don't know what the details are on what arrangement they made. I can tell you from these personal conversations, this isn't giving anything away. He is not at this stage motivated by a ton of money. That's not what's important. He's got that already. He wants creativity, an outlet for that. He wants to return to these worlds that he helped build, and he wants to do it in a role that doesn't require him to be constantly being interviewed and constantly on PR trips and constantly doing all that stuff. There's a real focus to this new position, and that focus will keep him out of the stuff that's a pain in the arse and keep him focused on the creative end of it. And that's all I can say, because there was more to that conversation, and it was told in confidence. I mean, the truth is, I've already said this online somewhere, but I knew about this about 2 months ago, and it has been so hard. You guys know how I am. I let stuff slip all the time by accident. Yeah. I was really nervous I was going to say something on the show.
You didn't even tell us, and sometimes you just tell us stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah. I didn't want to tell anybody. I was so nervous about it.
And for the record, in case Blizzard PR is now tuning in to see what kind of bullshit's going on over here, Scott hasn't told us anything, but I worry constantly that I might accidentally say something that was said, and then Scott will laugh in a certain way to confirm. That's pretty close to the nerve. Like, there's a little mini game that happens when we do this, because he doesn't betray Chris's confidence even to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is true. I found out from John Haidt. I didn't find out from Scott.
Yeah,
that's
John.
Fine.
You
a lot of
John
people
Haidt
found out from John Haidt.
Yeah, John Haidt, John tight. John and John are tight. Haidt tight. Or something.
Yeah. But like, Bo's right. Like, there is a weird mini game, because like I have a lot I want to say about this, and I'm worried that my proximity to Scott and his potential to know things would make it seem like I know things I don't know, even though I would just be making educated guesses. So I'm gonna
here's
we could go harder. John and I can tinfoil hat the live long day. Like, we could name drop and say all kinds of shit, just guessing, and maybe we're kind of sharp. We get things right on occasion.
You guys are smart.
And I would worry for Scott, because even the Liam O'Brien thing in Nerdtacular was an issue, right? And that's nothing. What if I'm like, this guy, and or whatever, like, it's dangerous, man. Dangerous game.
Yeah, that 2015 thing where I got Liam to do, basically he agreed for Nerdtacular to do the voice of Illidan, and we were going to make a fake movie trailer for the movie that hadn't even been shown the trailer for yet, and we didn't know what the new expansion was, which turned out to be very Illidan focused, but I didn't know that, and Liam must have known but didn't say anything to me. And so when he did, and we played it, and Chris is there at the event, at the stage, and I show this thing up on the thing, he was legit like, oh my hell, are we, this is going to be a leak event, and I'm screwed when I go back to California? Like, He was really worried about it. And I didn't even know why he would be, because I didn't know what the expansion the following week was going to be. It was announced at Gamescom a week later when we got Legion announcement. But there were no leaks. We didn't know. But it sure seemed weird that we got
He was
Illidan.
worried he might have told you, and then, then you did like a faux pas. And
Yeah, that was weird.
but you don't want to react too hard, because if he didn't tell you, then he's revealing the game by just reacting in a bad way.
Yeah.
Well,
the way I look at it, so
games.
for the record, his friendships, I take it seriously, and I'd never want to ever, harm it. And I won't. But up
he's
till
an
this
actual friend, you mean?
Yeah, for real. And up to this point, I don't have any more information. Like, this right here is the culmination of the stuff I knew. So everything else is unknown. I don't know. Like,
it still makes me feel like I need to show my work, though. Like, I feel like I can't just write my math answer. I can't just be like, you know what I think this means, Scott? Let me tell you. I have to be like, okay, now, Scott, they put out a lot of PR videos about World of Warcraft recently, and they keep saying this is the person that's in charge of Warcraft, not just World of Warcraft, but Warcraft going forward.
Right.
And then I see this, and I see literally from John Haidt's message where it says we'll be on World of Warcraft, then his work will expand to other projects across this growing franchise. And I see all of this, and I go, you probably don't bring Chris Metzen in just to be like, yep, I'm going to supervise the next expansion because it's got to be a good expansion. And I go, they must be working on something pretty big in the Warcraft universe.
Warcraft,
so there,
Arclight,
I've shown my
Mobile.
work.
Yep.
I don't know anything, and Scott hasn't told me anything.
No, and I don't know.
Warcraft Arclight Mobile. That's the other project. It's not
Well,
a secret.
that's true. That's true. That is definitely being made. But I bet. So when I saw this same thing, John, I started to get sleuthy and going, now wait a minute, he's sure talking about this franchise instead of just World of Warcraft. And
Scott knows.
I don't know I really don't. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure even he knows, to be honest. I don't know if he knows exactly. Maybe he does.
Let's gaslight everyone. Let's go.
Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But I can say this for 100% of surety. I'd be willing to bet real money on this, that he is not going there for the money. And he's not going there for the notoriety, even though this is a huge PR bump for Blizzard. It just is by its nature. I mean, I had people writing me going, this is like Steve Jobs in 97 when he came back and saved Apple. He's like all this kind of hyperbole. He's not doing it for that either. And don't expect him to be the face of constant information, if I were to guess, because I don't think that's what he wants. I think he really wants to engineer worlds and create story and just epic stuff. That's what he wants to get back to.
He didn't have to come to you to get into the world. He can start, once he retires from Blizzard, he can start a Twitch channel. Like, he could have gone that route.
Do anything he wants.
Like, there are game devs who leave, who start YouTube channels or make content, even if it's not a lot. There's a ex-Nintendo guy who's doing one that's pretty good. I haven't checked it out in a while, but it's not like that option isn't available to him if being in the public eye was something he wanted.
That's what he really wanted
already.
Yeah, and if it was all
he
about
could have done
money,
the Chris Metzen podcast. It probably.
I guarantee he got untold numbers of offers from big studios to come there. Yeah. He didn't. Why? Well, it's not the money. I don't think it was ever the money. What I think is he has a passion for these worlds and this creation. He's also had some time off from it, which freshens all that up. Makes you want to go back, and more on that later when we talk about games we play, because I have a thought about that. All of that being true, I think that this will be overall a win for everybody across the board. I think that people will see. This is the other smart thing about it. When he left at a high point. Legion had become one of the, or if not their best expansion ever. Overwatch was announced and released to huge acclaim, which he was also hugely in charge of. Like, he couldn't have walked out of there at a better time in terms of, like, everything's on the ups. There was some stuff in the background nobody knew about, and even he didn't know about, but that's a different issue. But, like, from a games perspective, went out on a high note. Then a bunch of time passes, and for the first time in a while here, Blizzard's a little bit on the up curve of player excitement. The new expansion is being well received. People like it and think it's a big improvement over the last two expansions. And what better time for him to walk in there and take on this role than when that thing is on the upswing. But also, we have this much distance between us and whatever the next expansion is. this is him getting his feet on bottom level of that process. That's really good for whatever's next, I think. And you know, I don't want to put. I don't think it's fair for gamers to put too much. You know, like how do I put this? You've heard the interviews, and you probably can guess from those conversations. He doesn't love that hardcore laser attention. He doesn't like it, and I don't blame him. Creative people. We want to make cool shit. We don't want to sit around and explain it all the time or listen to people bash it or whatever the attitude is. We want to just make and create and do. And I really think this is just a move to do that. Will it go on in perpetuity? I don't know. Will it, be amazing? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's much else we could say about it except I think it is good for Blizzard. I think it's good for Chris from a creative standpoint. And he absolutely, I don't know this, okay? I'm saying this for real. I don't know this. But I think that he crafted whatever deal it is to fit what he wanted. Because he can, first of all. And second of all, this isn't just come back to work, we'll see you on Monday. I think he made whatever good deal he could that wasn't about money as much as it's about what am I doing, where am I doing it, how am I doing it, and who am I working with. And I'd be shocked if that wasn't true. If it turned out that it was all John Haidt stuff and the whole contract was him, I doubt it. I think Chris had a lot of leeway, if I had to guess. Because it means this is a huge thing.
Yeah.
This PR bump alone got at least one person to buy Warcraft today. Imagine the millions that may have bought it today.
Is that one person you?
I mean, we'll talk about it later. We'll see.
Man,
We'll talk
they
about
got
it.
him. They got him.
Anyway.
Chris got him.
It's all very exciting, and I'm excited
That's
for
true.
him.
Not they.
And I'm excited for what it means for us, and I really hope this is I think this might be the perfect arrangement for a post. What we used to think of as Blizzard and what it is now, I think this might be a really good arrangement. And none of this should change if Microsoft's acquisition goes through. This all continues the way it goes. So,
I mean, but you know what happens, right?
What?
If the next World of Warcraft expansion is like really good,
yeah,
then Metzen becomes Jesus of video games for sure.
Yeah, that'll lock it in, right?
Not to put any pressure in case he says something. Maybe that's not a nice thing to say.
It'll be full.
But like if it's really good, I'm thinking positive. Like I've been rooting for. I don't know. I've been rooting. Has really great IPs. I want really great games. As much as we all had we were in our feelings about what's been going on there. I want to see them have wins. I enjoy their games. I'd like to just be thinking about playing Diablo and even be massively tempted to play World of Warcraft again. I think at some point. So.
Did you see what I did with Diablo?
Starcraft.
Did you see what I did with Diablo this week? I don't know if you watched or saw. Did you see what I did?
I heard the
Diablo show. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it on Mondays. It's still going to be kind of what it was, a solo show, and I do it as long as there's content to talk about. There's a lot to talk about right now, so I'm going to do it again. I was going through old episodes, and I found all this stuff John used to send me, and there's so much good stuff in there. Oh, my gosh. So good.
I don't remember what half of it is. I only remember the big one at the end for the finale. That's
that was amazing. But you would call in as Deckard Cain all the time.
Yeah.
And they were all gold, and I loved it. I found the episode where Deadmau5 called in. I found the one where, like you said, the one where you and Deckard himself, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. What does Deckard's voice? I can't think of his name.
Think of his name.
Peter Von
like
Potato Cheese. Gordon Ramsay.
I think it starts with a G. I can't remember it.
I forgot.
I can't remember his name.
I can't freaking remember.
But anyway,
either.
yes, he was very cool.
So it's back. Awesome. If you want to get more Diablo content, frogpants.com/Diablo. It's there now. All right. Let's do one of these. It's the Patreon message of the week. Message. Would you like to hear a message? We got a message from Jack the Knife on Patreon who says this.
Ugh.
It seems like I don't think it means Jack the Knife, like the way you're thinking, Bo. Like
I'm not gonna say any more words on the subject.
You all know where my head went, and I'm gonna comment no further.
Yes, go there if you'd like.
It was pretty self-explanatory, and if it wasn't, you didn't need to know anyways. It's not important.
So he says this. It seems like every comment thread on any new Overwatch 2 cosmetic is riddled with anger and hate, calling Blizzard greedy and ridiculous, or ridiculing anybody who would be okay spending their own money on cosmetics. Yet many games seem to be doing this exact thing without so much as a peep from fans. Is this because the game used to be monetized differently, or you could have gotten them through playing for free, or is it just more Blizzard bad internet point fishing? I tend to think it's the latter, says Jack. Jack, I think it is. People hold them to a standard that they forget others aren't living up to, and they don't seem to care. I mean, you basically described the problem in the question, because this 100% happens. I'm playing Overwatch Season 2 right now. Got the new the new tank. How did I get him? I paid $10 for the season. Do I love that? No. But do I have to do this everywhere else for any other game as a service? Hell to the yes, I have to. So I've come to a place where I think it's mostly fishing for, I can't believe Blizzard did this. This isn't like the Blizzard I remember, like all that stuff. I think people they get hits off that. It's a business. Bo, you talk about this all the time.
They have them as a different standard. That's that simple.
Yeah.
Well, it's a keyword thing too. Like, because these YouTube channels that are making content for you, well, I mean, they're looking up keywords, right? Like what's hot, what's popping. They're going to present this situation to you like it's something that they're just genuinely enthused to. And I happened upon this video game, Cyberpunk. It was terrible. But realistically, before that video gets made, the keywords are being looked at and the sentiments being taken on social media. And the video comes out biased in a way that's confirming to the majority. Yeah. And then that's how they get successful. And Blizzard... I mean, even back in the original World of Warcraft days, I could not believe the amount of people that were just so shitty to that company. Like the top 10 Blizzard post forums are always like, this company sucks, do this, fix red paladins, whatever it was. Blizzard just has this it's like Blizzard's like Linus from the Peanuts. Like Linus is a great kid, but he's got a dirt cloud around him. And I just feel like there's a dirt cloud that follows that company around. And it's not because Blizzard doesn't wash, although you might be able to stretch that analogy further with what's happened lately. They definitely needed a bath. But
before we get emails, though, that's Pigpen you're talking about, not Linus. Linus is fine. He's
you're right. Absolutely right.
Linus
Pigpen
is just the one who has the blanket.
He's just a nerd.
You're totally right.
Yeah,
I messed up. Yeah. But Pigpen, they've got this cloud of people that'll just forever be there, and they earn money from it. And when they're on their videos, they're like, I'm just saying what I feel like. I'm an independent creator. I'm just, but they've gone to keyword land to search for what's going to get the clicks first. Yeah. And, they probably are aware. They have their finger on the pulse of what's going on and the zeitgeist of whatever you want to call gaming problems. So anyways.
I think we have valid concerns. But John brought him up last week about Diablo 4's, sort of long game and how their battle pass works and how the cool cosmetics are going to end up in your hands or not. And I think those are absolutely valid questions and criticisms leading into that. And we'll see how it goes. But it's not like we don't have those. We certainly do. Yeah. But I think a lot of people, it pays it. If you have a YouTube channel that's popular, not all of them. Okay. I'm not going to blanket everybody, but if you got a popular channel and most of the hits you get are your bigger hits, your performance on YouTube comes from when you're railing against Blizzard decisions, you'll keep doing that because it makes money. It's the same reason that even reputable news sources have the same kind of shitty headlines all the time that bait people into going there because they work. If it didn't work, they wouldn't do it. So
the issue I find maddening because I'm getting called out by Tezzeret Dynamite, dismissing all the criticism. I'm dismissing it because on the one hand, we're going to rail all day against Diablo Immortal, but then we're going to give them $2 million a week. And then on the other hand, we go to Epic Game Store and get games for free. It's so all that free money you're not giving to a creator of probably an indie game, but many people are spending on Snap and Diablo Immortal for bullshit. And I think I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued of being mad about it. I'm like, I can be mad. We do a show about gaming, mad every week. And I'm just like, yeah, it's weird. Yeah. I don't understand the forces at play, really, because all the valid criticism in the world doesn't prevent these shitty practices from being rewarded, and at the same time, valid criticism results in a lot of yeah, for sure. But then we all go off and I have been trying to resist the allure of Marvel Snap for weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that game, but I hate that game. It takes so long to get new cards, and it's frustrating.
Right.
But Midnight Suns, which is a great box game, got me to buy a skin. I spent an extra $3 in that game.
Nice.
Because
What'd you
I
get?
just wanted a different look of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't dig short hair Captain Marvel. I like long hair. That was the only reason. It was the stupidest reason in the known universe to spend $4. But
not since Bo buying panties have I been more surprised by a purchase that he decided to announce.
Yeah,
I liked long hair Marvel, and I was like, what am I doing? You know, like I already spent $80 on the game, and it's like, I don't understand, but like I'll balk at a free game on Epic. Like, oh, I don't want that game.
I know we're weird. It's a weird mentality, and I get it.
It's weird. So it's like, I'm just like, it's not pit. I'm just like, I'm just sick of being a champion for this shit. Nothing's gonna happen for it or whatever. Like, I'm just like, spend all your money, fools. Like, fine. Like,
go for it.
And so like that's why Diablo 4 is coming, and it's gonna be full of transactions, and gonna be like, F it. Like I just like my life's short. I only have so much time to be mad about this shit. So
well, I think Tezzeret Dynamite in the chat, who has saying that we're dismissing this or whatever, he also kind of summed it up. He says people are the maddest about the things they're most passionate about. I see that angry criticism as born out of love of the games. That's what we're saying. Blizzard's held to a different standard, partly or maybe almost entirely because their adherence to quality is the best the industry has ever seen. Maybe. Like that is the level we hold them at. We see them as the most polished.
Because we expect better out of them. Yeah. Therefore, they should be better than the practices of everybody else. I do think that there's one thing we're overlooking, or at least we sidestepped to the point of the question, though. This person wasn't saying like, hey, YouTube creators are really railing on Blizzard. These are commenters. And while I think everything Bo said is valid, I think that there is a point to be said about the hive mind mentality of let's pile on the company, and because we're talking about commenters on forums, we're not talking about commenters.
I think one feeds
who are
into
making,
the other.
Yeah,
they do. Like whether it's somebody going and watching a creator and hearing their opinion and then going on the forums and trolling it. Like, yes.
Or the other way around, right? Or the other way around.
Sure.
The commenters first.
A lot of people will
I'm
say...
sure there are people out there, but I think more people go and listen to their favorite YouTuber or podcaster and then go on the forums and repeat the argument that they heard, somebody say and go, yeah, they made a good point. I'm going to go to the forums and I'm going to repeat that point like it's my idea and get the internet points for it.
That does happen. I think it happens the other way usually, but usually how that translates is like, let's say something happened.
It's an ongoing culture. Like once you learn the things to do in your cultural circle, you don't need to watch the video anymore.
Right.
I can guess what my favorite streamer is going to say, or I'm part of this group that doesn't like microtransactions, so you already know what to do.
Right, but the host will see like a string of tweets and say, wow, we got to bring this up. A whole bunch of people tweeted today. It's like those articles where somehow tweets are news. I freaking hate that. So that's the direction I don't like. But I also understand the other direction where a host of something will say a thing and people at home are going, yeah, I think I agree. And then they go and take it elsewhere. Sometimes that's positive. Sometimes, you're spreading goodness and truth around, I suppose.
I think the problem is that it usually doesn't hold water because you're just repeating what somebody else said. And then as soon as you get asked to support it, you're like, oh, but wait a minute. It wasn't my original idea. I think, we talked about, like you said, we talked about this last week, and this is kind of where I'm at. If something's good or bad. Like, it's not hard to tell.
Yeah.
If I play Diablo 4 and I look at the battle pass and I see the things are in there and I compare it to what's in the game, I know if I'm being taken advantage of or not.
Yeah.
It's not hard to tell. And when I look at Marvel Snap, I open it up and they go, hey, here's a real good deal for the end of the year. Give us $100. I know whether or not that's taking advantage of me or not. Like, I know. Regardless of whether I do it, I know when somebody's trying to take advantage of me. It is, this is a separate discussion from is it predatory? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, quality of a product.
Right.
Is Marvel Snap a worse game because that $100 holiday special item is in there. No,
Jesus,
it's not a worse game.
You can buy Midnight Suns or spend it on stupid points to make the borders of your cards better.
That's right.
Like, I kind of regret being as I still like Snap. I give credit where it's due for being a good game. But now that I'm in Pool 3, like I have a deck full of shiny Infinite cards, and they look great. And the biggest problem I have in life is trying not to spend $139 for a bunch of credits to make more of my cards shiny. When I could buy the Callisto protocol or something. You know, it's or just pay somebody for their game I got free on Epic to be like, thanks for giving me that game for free. Now I want to give you $20 just cause thank you. I played it and it was free.
Sure.
The problem is everybody's looking for a definitive answer on this. It's like, no, we need to find out right now. Is Blizzard bad or are they good? And it's like, you know what? No, it's complicated is the answer. And it turns out that you need to just form your own judgment on that. If the idea of a battle pass in Diablo 4 pisses you off, then don't play Diablo 4. It's that simple. And don't go on about well, they never did it before. Well, it's doing it now. This is where we're at. You either are on board or you're not. It is a game that is going to be an ongoing game as a service game. This is how they're funding it, and you are either on board with that or you're not. It's that simple, and it really is that simple.
Yeah. And if you're not on board with it, likely they'll be rich and hit their targets anyways. Like wishing, what do they call that when you wish poorly for others? Like whatever that is.
Schadenfreude.
No, Schadenfreude's pleasure in others' demise, but just wishing I'm not going to buy this product and I hope the company goes out of business.
God.
I'm over here going, Schadenfreude?
No, that's right.
Dope.
Schadenfreude.
No, I know, but I just sounded like an idiot, but that's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind.
But going there and having any thought like Diablo Immortal is so stupid, I hope it fails, and then seeing it succeed. Diablo's going to be just fine. The company's going to, I'm sure it's going to be a hit no matter how much crunch and other bullshit that we're going to hear leading up to Diablo, which there have been articles about crunch again.
Yeah.
It's the fact remains that it's probably going to be a decent game and it's going to sell. And I think I agree with John. You're just going to have to pick your poison, because Path of Exile, it's not as egregious as what Blizzard's going to have, but I checked, they have a battle pass or a season pass. So, if you're just Blizzard's terrible, I like this company, they're owned by Tencent, and it's they got a subscription and all the same shit and cosmetics.
Yeah.
I think Overwatch, although this is nothing new, Blizzard has always been at a premium price point. Yeah. Like I said, I go to Walmart and it's a 10-year-old ass game and I still got to pay full price at Walmart. What the hell is that? Meanwhile, Space Quest is $2 like it's supposed to be. It's always been a Blizzard thing that it's costs a premium. So it's not a shocker to me that Overwatch stuff costs a premium, and it's not going to be a shock that Diablo is going to cost a premium. That's Blizzard. You're just self-reporting that you don't have a lot of passive income, and that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. And also,
you don't want to be angry about it and say the company's the devil just because you're unhappy you don't have as much disposable income as you'd like to have.
Here's my pay arrangement with Blizzard right now on Overwatch. I pay $10 a season for a new character. That's literally how I look at it. Because the pass is there for progression. I kind of like the feeling of unlocking things. Some of those skins are cool. Some I don't care about. And a bunch of the other unlocks are kind of, whatever, they're fine. Just filler. But what I'm actually paying for is Ramatra, or before that, healer lady who throws cards at people. I forgot her name. Kiriko. Is that it? No, that's the girl on The Boys.
Kiriko is the
Kiriko?
new hero.
I got no idea.
Anyway, they that's what I spent my $10 season 1 for, and I spent 10 more on that dude. And that's how I look at it. Now, a lot of people, the complaint isn't about that as much as it is the store stuff is ridiculous. Like a skin for $25. I agree it is. I ain't paying it. I'm not going to do it. But I'm having fun, and I don't need to look at myself. I don't even look at myself. That's the other thing. This is a whole other issue. Looking at yourself.
First person game.
I see myself in the menu, but that's it. It's just a gun for the rest of the time. So those golden guns, I get that the golden guns.
You should really be buying skins for other people.
Yes, skins for other people.
To appreciate them.
Let me dress up everybody I see. John, that's it.
Maybe you'd feel differently if you got to play the game a little more often.
Well, that's true.
That's
I
the
mean,
one,
like, but
that's the one
that's
part
what
where
it
you're
is, and
I heal too much.
It's so funny because people are like, well, is it a good battle pass or a bad battle pass? You know, and it's like we already know that these things aren't one for one, like because there will be people who go, I don't like battle passes at all, and then later in a conversation you'll hear them say, well, you know, sometimes there's a bad battle pass, sometimes there's a good. Like these things exist on a spectrum. You just judge it on it. Guess what? I bought my kids Fortnite battle passes for the last one.
Yeah.
I didn't have to buy it again because I taught them an important lesson about saving, and I made them save the currency they unlocked going through that battle pass to buy the new battle pass. I did a one-time purchase, and it's carried on for months. And months of joy. It was a good deal, and I feel really good about it. I feel very positive about this decision.
Oh, you can rebuy a battle pass with in-game currency.
Yeah.
So, as a part of the
That's a little
Fortnite battle
unusual.
pass, there is enough currency that you unlock over the course of the battle pass to pay for the next battle pass, and then some.
Yeah, most people use it to
That's
buy
good value.
skins and stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty good value. Fortnite,
Not every game does that. Like
Fortnite,
I
for all
don't
its
have
stuff,
that willpower. They did better than me. I had to buy my battle pass again because I spent all that currency on other stuff.
right?
So when I'm running around like the Terminator, I feel real cool.
It's
you
like
know,
WoW,
it's
and
fine.
isn't it? It's like WoW and their and before that ESO or not ESO, EVE Online did this where they introduced a system where you could buy your monthly subscription with in-game currency if you had enough of it, and the gold selling stuff you do in WoW now is very similar to that. I like when games do that. I think that's cool. I'd love it if I could do this, accumulate points and hold on to those to pay for the next month's pass or the next season's pass in Overwatch. That'd be great, but they don't have that implemented at the moment. But John's right. It's on a spectrum. You got to make judgment calls along the spectrum. And just remember, in first-person shooters, like, you're not going to see that shit most of the time. So it's cool if you unlock it. And if you have it, great. But you're really just not going to see. You're just going to see a gun with some doodle hanging off of it. And you're like, that's right. I'm wearing a Christmas skin. I can't see it, but you all can. Who cares? Save your money. That's what I'm getting at there. All right. Thank you for the question, Jack the Knife. Also, people do not jack the knife. All right.
Don't do it.
Let's get on to.
No, never mind. I'm not saying any more words.
Because the knife likes it, and
you
get
won't.
Dirty.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
the
going to
worst
like
thing,
it.
A pig.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure you hold the knife by the handle.
Oh, what if you held it? Oh, so not blade up, blade down.
Just blade.
Boy,
not
I'm
in
sure
hand.
glad that someone somewhere is going to be like, man, I'm really glad I listened to Core this week.
Yeah.
I found out the right way to jack a knife.
Jack a knife. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we teach you here on the show. That music means it's time to talk about the games we played this week, and we'll start with some shared games. I'm still embarrassed that I have it on a hard drive and haven't started it yet. I haven't played Marvel Midnight Suns, not Midnight Marvel Suns. I want to. It actually doesn't help me to hear you say it's Slay the Spire. It's Marvel Slay the Spire. That's kind of what you're saying to me.
It's Marvel. The accurate comparison is Gordian Quest. You have three in Gordian Quest. You got three dudes. You fight an army. You move around, position tactically, play cards, build up your class. There are way more cards and items in Gordian Quest. Gordian Quest leans a little more on the Diablo Path of Exile side of things, but Midnight Suns leans more on the XCOM, side of it. We're back at base and develop, and a little bit of visual novel RPG thrown in there. But now that all the talking's kind of out of the way, I'm just playing side missions. I don't even care about moving the story forward. I'm just leveling up my dudes, smacking people into air conditioners and HVAC machines and taking poles and smashing them over people's heads.
Yeah, like you do.
It's fun. I'm opening up portals and tossing people into portals. I'm zipping around as Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's fun. It takes no effort. I get home. What do I want to do? I want to play some more of that Midnight Suns. Give me a bit of some of that Midnight Suns, and then I stay up too late. Just one more gaming it.
So it's a good. What you're saying is, even though that's a simple comparison,
I say it's like Slay the Spire. It's not a roguelike. It's more. It's a full 70-hour RPG.
Yeah.
That takes its time, and the production values are great. I like the Spidey Sense one. There's some sweet animations where you just goes full comic book all of a sudden after I play a card. There's no card game that's as rich and in its theme than this game.
How
It
close-
feels like superheroes. Like, I'm not trying to hide under cover or do like
Right.
weird magic tricks. I'm just smacking the shit out of bad guys.
So are you, how
It's
far
fun.
into this 70-hour experience do you think you are?
I just started part 2 and I just got Wolverine, so I'm 1/3 of the way.
No,
That's
that's
my
you got a
guess.
lot left.
There's
Okay.
still like more heroes to unlock, and I've like probably over leveled, but I'm playing on Ultimate 1 now. Like I just keep increasing the difficulty as the stuff when it tells me to, and then I just keep trying to power up. So it's fun.
All right. Are you still skipping a lot of dialogue and junk, or are you hanging on to story, or how you doing?
No, it's been a mix. It depends on what it is. Like if we're going fishing, I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear the full voice line.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a main mission, or it's like maybe like an actual haven or deep conversation, I might listen.
Okay.
And I'm all done with Agatha's bullshit. I've discovered most of the shit on the island, so that's done.
Okay. That's
So
her new show.
that
on,
was a bit of a
Disney Plus.
chore.
Disney Plus show coming up called Agatha's Bullshit. I can't wait. It's going to be
Yep,
great.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Sign up now.
I found that stuff fun, but I saved the Agatha, like, we called it the Mortal Kombat Crypt stuff. I did all that stuff when I was enjoying more what was on my second screen than doing what I was doing in the game. I definitely had phases. If I was really engaged in the game, I was doing side missions. If I was really engaged in what I was watching or playing on the side, then I was running around the island opening chests and stuff. But
Gotcha.
this game is so good. Like it just keeps getting better. I feel like I've been playing it forever, and I'm still like I just got a new character. And
Scarlet Witch. Who's next? I don't mind spoilers on the characters.
it is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And I found out she's not the end. I thought she would be because it evens out the row, but
There's one other one, eh?
There's
And I know who it is. I spoiled
you
it.
probably guess who it is. But
Yeah.
like the characters are really cool. It's amazing how it feels like there's only so many like attributes that a card can have. Like it can have knockback or forceful knockback, or like there's only so many of those, and yet they still find a way to make, like, through the kit of cards and like the bonuses they get, the characters feel different. So like I was watching Bo play the other day, and I came in and I was like, hey, here's what I think is the best team, and Bo likes a different team entirely, and it's all down to like play styles and stuff. Like it's neat that they have that level of diversity across what is already a pretty big roster. Like I really like running with Hunter, Spider-Man, probably doesn't surprise anybody, and Wolverine. I think that combo is fantastic. Although I still think Nico might be the secret best character in the game.
Really?
Every mission I have ever taken Nico on, I have done just fine.
Let me ask you.
It's never been a problem.
Let me ask you if any of these obscure characters have made an appearance. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Kazar.
No.
Okay.
No.
How about Madcap?
No.
No.
How about Jack Monroe?
No.
Jack and Monroe? No.
Jack and Monroe. Jack and Knife Monroe. Wendell Vaughn.
No.
Well, that's Quasar. So Quasar, no Quasar.
No Quasar.
How about let's see, Demolition Man?
Nope.
It's the Sylvester Stallone.
No, it's just a
In
wrestler
the
guy.
future, where all the restaurants are talking about this isn't really that. I mean, I would say this works better for Marvel Snap because
Yeah, that's true.
There they go deep. This is really a more focused story. Like there's only so many characters that they are actually like actively including in the thing.
Mhm.
And it kind of does the same thing that I was somewhat critical of the Marvel Avengers game of doing, although even this game has a wider diversity than what Marvel Avengers did, which is there are only so many bosses that you face.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of like the Nemesis system a little bit. They can randomly show up on missions, so you can take an easy mission and be like, oh yeah, this will be a cakewalk. I'll get some credits, whatever, this will be fine. And when reinforcements come in, instead of the usual like one-shot instant down troopers, Venom shows up, and you're like, "Oh shit! Now I got to deal with Venom on top."
Oh, I know.
What was
Yeah,
trying to do.
I hate when a supervillain, you're doing a side mission. It's like casual McCasual, and then a supervillain shows up and just makes it last like 20 minutes. It's
Yeah.
fun though. I like it. You never know when it's gonna happen.
Is that just side mission stuff that can happen? Like suddenly?
Yeah, and side missions, suddenly the villain shows up to shit on your day, and you're like almost dead, but you're gonna get the mission done. It's like, surprise, it's Sabretooth, and you're like, oh man.
But it also makes for a neat, like, it's a smart mechanic because it adds this, because when you get narratively to a point where the supervillain isn't going to show up anymore, it kind of is satisfying. Instead of it just being like, oh, whatever, you've kind of unlocked something for the game. You're like, well, now I never have to worry about fighting Venom ever again, or, I don't have to worry about Sabretooth, although I don't know if that happens. Sabretooth's still around in my playthrough. But it's kind of interesting the way it works that way, because it made defeating Venom feel like an achievement instead of just like a metric of, oh, I got through the story mission, I did it. Yeah. Like now there's actually something. I don't have to fight Venom anymore. Like that felt cool. And
I'm sure he's gonna be back. I mean, I haven't made it to the end, but Venom's.
Isn't he confirmed as a DLC character though? So maybe
true.
he turns up. Yeah. Maybe we're gonna recruit him. Like
he's confirmed as a DLC. I mean, I hope that there's actual campaign DLC too, new enemies and zones and stuff.
Oh, I bet they will. Right? I mean, they have a history of that.
Season pass. It sounds like it's gonna have 4 entries in it. I just, this is a Firaxis game, right? So the XCOM X pack is what made it. XCOM 2 really shine, right? So I'm kind of hoping there's some love along that line for this, because this is a really good base. But it's like, it's like having ice cream cake. You eat ice cream cake, you feel sick, but you could totally have another slice of ice cream cake. I'm like, I just want more. I just want to cover my face in Midnight Suns. I'm like, I like this game a lot. It's easy to pick up. I have the misgivings I expressed last week. It's just because it's an RPG and it pulls the RPG bullshit of talking to you a whole bunch. And I think if it were a lesser game, I might have refunded it like I refunded Pathfinder, Path of the Righteous, because that was nonsense. Like, RPGs, you can't take that long to settle in. I'm sorry. I know they're talky games, but man. Anyways, the combat's just fun. It's visceral. Like, I like Captain Marvel because you go binary and the animation on her lighting up is so crazy. And when she punches people, it feels like she's like, it's a comic book thing, so the guy just falls to the ground, but it feels like she punches so hard the head should just fly right off. Like, she punches harder than Doom Guy. Like, it's fun, and her laser blasts are like just epic, like and there's another one I really like too. I think the Doctor Strange effects are really awesome. That's actually one of the things I like about this game, is it gives it that latest gen treatment for heroes you don't see games of. Like, there's always going to be a Spider-Man game, but how many games where you get to play Blade? I'm like, Blade's a badass. I'd play a Blade video game. And like is there ever going to be a Captain Marvel like game to the level of a Batman or Spider-Man game?
Probably not.
Like, no. Yeah, so you're kind of getting that from this, and you're like, it's cool. So there, and even Stephen Strange, the animations on him are awesome. I like when he moves around like a what do they call those Protoss units again? Templar.
Like,
yeah. In the cinematic for the third StarCraft release, StarCraft 2 release, they kind of like go and they move around, they float, and they have echoes. Yeah. He moves like that when he sort of gets up in that cross shape, and he goes and he moves across the battlefield in a really sick way. And I'm like, I love moving him around.
That's great.
You're right that Spider-Man's great. So John taught me an important part of the game too, is that you don't just play with cards. You actually get some free actions like shove. And I didn't know that. I played so far into the game without knowing that the whole deal with Spider-Man is that he can cash in moves to get a bunch of free shoves to just, he's Spider-Man. He kicks people into his webs and off buildings and stuff. And
right.
He became a lot more fun. So I thank you for showing me that, John.
Yeah, the shove is really valuable. I was watching Bo play, and I was just like, why didn't he just shove that guy? He can get rid of 2 enemies right now with a shove. And he just skipped it. I was like, I immediately got in chat and backseat gamed. I was like, Bo, let me tell you about the shove. I got to tell you about the shove, man.
I'm glad you did. I did not know about the free shove. I thought I had to always spend heroism. Because that's the other thing, too. You can, instead of spending cards, you can just cash in your heroism to vault off of objects in the map, or throw explosives at people, or and it's well done. When you do it with magic, she opens up a portal and drops the object on someone. When you do it with Spider-Man, he whips out the webs and whips it at somebody with the webs. Like, each character does the same actions, but in their own special way. Like, there's a lot of like tender love and care in the art department to make everything feel unique. That almost feels unnecessary, but I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, like for example, there's explosive barrels because it's a video game.
Yeah.
And so you think of a character like Wolverine, right? How does he safely remote detonate an explosive barrel?
I know,
And so what he does is he shoves his claws into the ground, yanks up a rock, and hucks it at the explosive barrel. And it's like, that's just a bit of attention to detail they didn't necessarily need to do. But
it's kind of lame looking, but you're like, well, what else would he do? He's got nothing to throw.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Well, it's a good game. So I need to
such a
fire it
cool
up,
game.
right? You're just saying, Scott, knock it off and play the effing thing.
Just play it,
right
and even the stuff I think you're probably not excited about, like the talkie bits, like you can skip through the stuff you don't like, but there's some really good stuff in there, like Blade starts a book club.
Oh my, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is gonna sell me.
And it's
Book club's pretty good. And emo kid, I like emo kids too. There's a bunch of clubs you can be a part of. One of them's called Emo Kids, and one of them's called Book Club.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Blade is one of the best characters in it. I really love how well Blade is written. He's awesome.
That's
Blade's
good.
Blade's a standout. Spider-Man is okay. He seems like typical Spider-Man, but Blade is great, and I kind of like the Tony Stark Doctor Strange vibe. Like, it's more of a fuddy-duddy Strange. It's not cool Mr. Cool Strange.
Yeah.
And then Tony's doing the Robert Downey Jr. thing. I think it just works a little better because Benedict Cumberbatch is too cool. Like, he's kind of a cool actor guy like Robert, right? But imagine if they got like Walter Matthau to play Doctor Strange, and it's not quite that extreme, but like they're just. The irritation factor is better. It's like one of those, middle-aged man and old man kind of dynamics rather than two middle-aged men, I guess.
It's just genuinely funny at some points. Like there was one right after the mission where you recruit Wolverine. So he has not been with you very long at all. They have this big vote to make you the leader of the group. And one of the options, I don't know if this was different for you, Bo, because I don't know how you went about this, but they make my character the leader of the group, right? And you give a big speech. And my speech was about how they need to stop fighting with each other because there's a lot of infighting between the Midnight Suns and the Avengers. And my character's basically like, you're all making us weaker by bickering with ourselves. And Wolverine's like, hey, I just got here. And the character goes, except Wolverine, because he just got here. And then Spider-Man goes, man, you're right. I need to try harder. And my character goes, except for Spider-Man 2, you're doing a great job. It gives him positive reinforcement.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's good. Are you
good.
playing male hunter or female hunter?
Female hunter.
Okay, so the male hunter is Matt Mercer, by the way. So if you like listening to Matt
Mercer too. They brought him in to be Matt Mercer in it, which is great. He's got a great voice, it is.
But it definitely is Matt Mercer all the way. So that might be a benefit for some to listen to that man's voice.
Oh, did you hear he's going to be that new character in the
he's Minsk.
The Baldur's Gate guy.
In Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And so, the usual controversies have arisen. I don't want to wade into it, but...
oh, great.
Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be a great game. This isn't going to rain on my parade.
No, not at all.
It should rain on anyone else's.
It shouldn't rain
just
on
because the original voice actor, he's still voice acting. Why didn't they get him? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I don't even think I'm going to play with Mints. I want to make as many of my own original characters. I want the vampire guy in my party.
Yeah.
And all the vampires' food. That's I'm really only interested in the vampire. And the little I've played, you can get a oh shit, what are they called again? It's not a mind flare, an intellect devourer. It's basically a brain with two little legs.
Yeah.
And I think it joins your party like right at the jump of the game. Because spoilers for the first few minutes of the game starts in hell on a mind flare ship. It's awesome. This game is going to be the best thing that ever happened to CRPG type video games ever.
Well, that's awesome. So there you go. Marvel, Midnight Sun, still a threat. I need to play it.
Play it.
Yeah.
Let's wade through the mud over to something dumb I did. All right, so I've been unreasonably excited about the Witcher patch, the Witcher 3 next gen patch, which brings a bunch of PC console stuff to bear, like on PC anyway, full RTX support for all kinds of ray tracing effects in the game, reflective stuff, water stuff, character stuff, 4K textures. You can pet Roach now. So that's cool. You can pet him.
I was kind of secretly hoping you were going to beat the game before the patch.
No way.
And just time it really badly and be like, well,
it's too big.
Whoops.
I couldn't do it.
I beat it. Now I got to play through it again.
It's actually very impressive. The number one thing I was looking forward to, though, was probably, well, first of all, I wanted it to run much better on Series X, and it does. It looks really great. There's 2 modes where you can turn on full ray tracing, but you get 30 frames, or you can do performance mode and get up to 120, which is what I'm doing. And it looks better than it did and runs great, and I'm very happy with it. But my biggest excitement was cross-save, the way that they implemented it for Cyberpunk they were going to do here. I was all jazzed about that. Fired it up, got it going. Remember, I paid for the complete edition. I paid $9 on sale for the entirety of that $59 game I got for $10 on sale. So there it is on the console, ready to go. I come over here, I load the patch on here. 54 gigabyte patch, by the way, because it's all these new textures and stuff, so it's big. PC, do the patch. I'm like, all right, now I'm synced between the two. And sure enough, cross-save show. The last thing I did on the console, last thing I did on the PC, I can choose what I want and play from wherever I want. Fired it up on the PC. Sorry, you can't do this because you don't have the DLC on this computer and your console version does. So, sorry.
Whoops.
And so I went, well, let's see. I guess I could go see how much this is. What is it, $10 now or something? I go and look. No, it's like for just the DLC, the 2 big DLCs, to bring it to current complete edition status, $49 additional because it's not on sale anymore.
What?
Oh, man. What is this, Destiny 2?
Had I gotten it on sale, when it was on sale on both platforms, I'd be set. But I forgot I didn't have the DLC on PC. And so it just was bad timing. So here's what I'm going to do. I decided not to spend $49 on DLC. I'm going to wait for the next sale, which spring sale, whenever it is. And that'll drop down to 10 again, and I'll get the whole thing for 10 again, and then I'll be synced. But the whole point, not the whole point, but one of the big points was all this cross-saving stuff was going to be great. And now I can't.
But you need the proper latest version.
Yeah, you have to have if the console one had been the base game without the DLC, we'd be fine. But I was like $7 for the game by itself, or $9.99 for all the DLC. I'll just pay $10. Well, there's my mistake. So anyway, The Witcher's still great is the bottom line, and it's I love it.
Oh, I see. It's not compatible with the different versions.
Yeah, it's just different. It's a version mismatch thing, so it's annoying. Anyway, I'm loving that game, though. It's great. So I played a bunch of that. I also, today, bought and played a game you may have heard of. World of Warcraft Dragonflight. Sound familiar?
We're getting back to the roots.
I won't lie. What spawned...
I caved first. Scott caved second. We're coming for you, Bo.
Coming for you, Bo.
I'll admit, I've thought about it.
Have you?
I've thought about it.
Well, maybe you'll think more now.
I haven't been thinking about it as much now that I'm playing Midnight Suns, but I'm sure I'll think about it again.
Me too, as it turns out, weirdly. I'm still on the first quest once you get to the Dragon Isles. I'm really excited about the money I spent on it.
Well, okay, so I may be farther than you then, because I went a little further than that. I didn't have much time, so I didn't, get super far. But I'm in it far enough to say this, and I'm trying to be as sort of take all the emotion and all of the years of dedication out of this relationship I have with this game and 15 years of playing it and all that. I'm trying to forget about all that for a minute and just look at it objectively, which can be tricky and hard, but maybe it was the big break I took, or maybe it's just that Dragonflight is actually a big step up from the previous expansions, but just tonally, I immediately liked what I was seeing better. Like, I immediately felt like I like this story better. I like these characters they're giving me. I like what Alex Strauss is saying. I like that the shit wizard is back, baby. The shit wizard is back.
Wait, the shit wizard's back?
Khadgar, babe. Babe, I called you babe. Khadgar is back in town.
You know what?
Scott's gone to Hollywood. He's just calling everybody babe.
I'm
he
here
showed
calling
up.
you babe. He called me babe.
I know, yeah, that's true. But
How to earn your babe, John.
he showed up, and
I'm good.
I didn't know he was in this. I didn't know he was coming back. I got so excited when I saw Khadgar. I freaking love
what
that dumb
happened?
character.
The last time I saw Shit Wizard was Legion, I think.
I think it was Legion. A little bit into the carryover into BFA, but yeah,
Okay.
he's awesome, and he's in it. There's a ton more spoken stuff. It just looks really nice. The zone, like John, you said this last week, the zones are really nice. The new UI stuff, fantastic. Very good. Took them way too long.
I don't want to do add-ons anymore.
Ever. I never want to do them.
I don't want to do ads either, actually, as a mechanic. But mostly what I was trying to say was I don't want to do add-ons anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just done with that whole scene. And the UI, I probably would not be playing this game. I mean, I haven't been, but I probably would not be willing to give this game another shot if they hadn't done the UI changes, because being able to go in add-on free and feel like I can actually customize my experience base level is so huge and so nice.
Yeah, when I went in, it says all your add-ons are disabled. This is my first load in after I hadn't played it for all this time. I'm like, of course, it's a new game. It's patches, or I'd have to patch all these add-ons. So I just said disable them all. Then I got in the game and I'm like, I have a giant joined bag. I have all this other shit I'm used to getting from add-ons, and I had to go check my add-ons to make sure they weren't actually enabled. But I'm like, there's tooltips on these new things. Holy shit, they just stole some really great, they took ideas from some really great add-ons and just integrated them finally in a really meaningful package. And it's so much more dynamic. It's not based on pixels. It's based on, vector imagery and stuff, which makes these things much more flexible and easy to move around, scale, that sort of thing. And it's pretty freaking great. And in some ways, someone will be annoyed with me saying this because other MMOs have had better UI. And if I had only one complaint, it would be, why did it take you this long, Blizzard, to improve your freaking UI? This took you a long time.
Other people were doing the work for them.
I guess so.
It's kind of what it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
It's a problem, and that makes it sound like it's malicious, and they were like sitting around going, yeah, but it wasn't that. But why put assets into something that, for a lot of people, it's easy to say, a lot of people have their favorite add-on for UI, and they're just going to use that. So why put assets into it?
Yeah.
They released the WoW voice chat in a very early patch. I think it might have even been in vanilla. And it didn't get a lot of support, and it didn't get a lot of attention. Why? Because Discord and Vent and all of that became a thing and became the standard. You just don't put resources into something that doesn't seem important. But I think that the lesson to take away from it here is that it is important.
Yeah, especially in mass anyway. It's not just one or two tweaks. It's an overhaul that was just needed. And if you like your old way of doing things, no problem. It'll let you do it. If you want to go customize the living hell out of it, you can do it. Or you can go with the modern interface, which I think looks really nice. So I use that. It's good. And not loading.
The thing we need your opinion on is how do you like the flying?
Okay, so I'm not far enough. I don't have my flying yet on GURP, which is who I took my hunter. I didn't go start a dragon person yet. I'll do that at some point. But I took GURP just to see how that was going to go. GURP's all dressed up in his Shadowlands bullshit, and his pets are these stupid fairy donkeys or whatever I had in the last expansion. And so I was like, let's go in there and let's see what's up. Let's see how they treat my venerable character I've had since vanilla. And the only complaint I have, everything looks fine, plays fine, and as far as I can tell, the character, there wasn't a lot of resets on my stuff. Even the talent tree is already filled out.
Did you not dive into the talent tree?
Not yet. I didn't have time. But my talent tree's already, all my stuff's done. So I guess I could just go change it when I get to a city.
You gotta go in there and really, get up in there. Get up in the meta.
Reset
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
Figure out what you got to do.
I was like, I want to get into the game as much as I can so that I can talk about it tonight. So I didn't mess with that so much. I will.
See, that's where our difference is. So when people are like, John hasn't even finished the first quest on the Dragon Isles, what's wrong with him? I did make a dragon person and played through the dragon person area 3 times.
Oh wow, that's always the choice, though, right? New
New
And-
character,
race,
right?
new class, or expansion content.
Then
Right.
I ended up playing my old class, my rogue, and then I had to spend a ton of time doing my UI and making sure all my talents were right and testing the talents. So I have a decent amount of gameplay time. I just, I didn't have a lot of time to go.
John was setting the table.
do
I was
dragons.
already eating. That's basically what the difference is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Do
good way of putting
do
it.
you guys think you're gonna be? Yeah, well, we'll find out next week.
Okay,
I'll
well,
need an
so-
update on.
so-
I'll need an update on Dragonflight because if you guys are playing enough,
No, you're right. We need to
we're
see.
starting to raid or whatever, or do dungeons, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll jump in.
I'm
and play.
gonna tell you, Bo, I'm not gonna do.
He's not gonna raid.
You're not gonna
And
raid or
it's
do
gonna
dungeons?
be a long time before I actually play through the level up content.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
your
gonna.
family has really drained your ability to
Yeah.
Well,
play games.
and I talked about this
with
in my
peace and
review.
love and
I don't
respect.
want to put down WoW because none of my criticisms for the game are WoW's fault. Like WoW is what it is. Like, and this is a very good version of WoW. But I spent a lot of time wishing WoW was something else.
Mm.
And I have moved on and I have found other things that scratch
Oh
that
yeah,
itch.
Final Fantasy 14.
I wasn't gonna say it, Bo. I didn't want to turn
It's
it into
fine.
an ad, but I found other things that scratch that itch. And going back, while the WoW part is very good from what I've played,
Dragon.
the things that I thought were lacking are still lacking. Like
Yeah.
I still went back and went in and was like, I wish this had this. I wish this had
Yeah,
this. And I
but
wish
Chris
this was
Messen's
this.
back at Blizzard now.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I heard about that.
I heard that on a show.
Yeah, I heard it too.
So,
it feels like just
so-
an hour ago. or a
So
half hour
I
ago.
don't know. I do want to play through it. I don't even have my dragon riding. I want to customize my dragon. I want to fly. I will play it. I just don't think I'm going to be all in on it. If I had to
Well,
guess.
I don't know it yet either. I'm too early to say, but I did. It got its hooks in me again, and I was not fiddling with too much stuff. Okay, this is my only complaint. When I got in and got to my first questing zone, and there were things to kill, I was burning stuff down with one shot, just tearing them apart. With gear I had from whatever little raiding I did on the last expansion, that felt a little weird. I felt way OP in the new world.
It's because they were baby dragons, Scott, and you should be shocked and horrified.
I
by your
agree,
action.
but even the adult Drake-looking ones were one-shotting dead. My pet couldn't even get to him quick enough. So I don't know. I'm sure that evens out. It always does, right? Eventually, I'm going to find some gear that's like, oh, finally, I
Yeah.
found something better than that raiding gear. So I'm not that worried about it, but I am used to just a slightly higher challenge when I go to a brand new expansion zone than I'm getting here. That being said, though, the rotation of the experience, it's impossible to take that out of me. It's been in me so long, you can't take it out. And there was something really comfortable about it. Like just, oh yeah, right. This is nice. I like this game. Oh yeah, right. I just talked to a blood elf. He's still saying the same dumb shit he said in the second expansion, and I love him for it. You know? The Sindor Eye, whatever he says. Like you hear him say these things and you're like, oh, that brings me back. Oh, that brings me back. You talk to a Torn and he goes, what brings you here? And I'm like, you did, you beautiful giant cow man. You did.
Yeah, because that when I was thinking about maybe I'll play again, I wasn't thinking about the expansion content. I was like, I want to go hang out in Dunmoreau again. I need to go to Grizzly Hills and hear the music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all the sweet spots, the Howling Fjord. You know, wait, is it Howling Fjord? Which one's the cool one?
I loved Howling Fjord. The one in
Howling
All right, yeah, the
Fjord's
tundra.
awesome.
The
Yeah.
tundra sucks. Yeah, the
Yeah,
fjord's
Borean
awesome.
tundra is awful.
Boring
Howling Fjord
tundra.
is the way to go.
boring tundra.
Boring tundra. No, and like just Stone Talon Peaks, whatever the giant peaks are with all the winter stuff. I love that area too.
Stone Talon Peaks.
To the right of Ice Crown, whatever that.
Yeah,
area
Stone
is.
Talon, I think.
No, that's
No, Stone Talon's in a
Storm-
vanilla.
What is it?
Storm
Storm
Peak.
Peaks.
Oh,
Yeah.
Storm
Yeah.
Peaks. Storm Talon's
I
the
like
one in
Storm Peaks.
Vanilla. Right.
You know, you got to do the customary visit through all the zones in Burning Legion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm thinking about. I haven't been in the game for a while. I just kind of want to go to.
You can do all that
Oh,
now,
yeah,
and it's
stuff.
scaled, so you can actually have a pretty good time in there and all that old
It's
content.
scale. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So you can go play, make a new character, and just do it. It's fun.
I mean, the one thing I will always say about that game is it has like the best music. Like, just so memorable. I can think about songs from any zone a decade later and not having played it and just still like picture the zone, the area, what I was thinking back then.
Yeah.
So it might be just even for the nostalgia, dip a toe in, play some Dragonflight, then go to Booty Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, and I still stand by this. There's never been a WoW expansion where I've played through the leveling up and have not had fun. I've felt that way about Shadowlands, which ultimately I didn't like. I felt that way about Warlords of Draenor, which ultimately I didn't like. But the leveling up content, I always had a great time with. So at the very least, it's going to be a fun ride for that. And to me, at least, that's worth my buy-in for it. It might not be for some, but for me, that was enough to justify it.
Oh, and they also did an unannounced thing. Well, they've announced it, but we didn't know about it before. They're for the holiday between now and the 2nd or 3rd or 5th or something of the first of the year. They're gonna do. You can get free 30 days of game time if you buy the game during that window. So I think that was as of yesterday or maybe even 2 days. So I'm playing a free 30-day thing. So the way I look at it is I paid $49 for the expansion. I'm getting my first $15 for a month free. It just seems like a no-brainer. But I will admit it all came on because of this Metzen news. I don't mind admitting it. I know there's others out there like me that were like, ooh, that's got me in the mood somehow. And also hearing how much he's playing. We've been talking about that off air, and he's really into it. He thinks they've killed it with this new thing. You might say, well, that's because he's about to go back there and work and do stuff. Sure, but I think he really does like it.
Oh, but he's not going to be that way on his own private conversation with you.
No, he's not trying to impress me
Yeah,
here.
he genuinely like I think it doesn't matter what you think about it. If you think it's the worst thing in the world, if you're like enjoy the thing that you make or that your group makes, like that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah,
like,
imagine that. Most people hate what they make. They're sick
even
of it.
in the game industry, there's probably people that work on Diablo Immortal that were not happy about it, or maybe that's too close to home. Maybe for the topic of conversation, but there's probably people there that are like, I hate the monetization thing, but it's my job to implement it, so let's go. That's what I'm doing. Like,
Sure.
But it's good if you like World of Warcraft is an aging product, right? Like I'm always lamenting that, but it is good to see people still enjoying it. And I think bringing someone who loves the IP and the stories, is a positive thing. And, who knows what other stuff we're getting. Warcraft, Arclight, Rumble, and we have Hearthstone. Who knows what other stuff might be down the pipeline for Warcraft. Will we get an Arcane style anime in the Warcraft world? That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Hello,
I mean, they were supposed to get a Diablo one, but maybe
it's still happening.
Yeah.
Maybe it's I don't know. It's hard to say. And if they were smart looking at Cyberpunk, they'd release Diablo 4 and then a year later release that anime. You know what I mean? It might be that it's done and it's just like it's going to be used as part of a hype strategy at some point down the line. Because man, did Cyberpunk ever show us like the timing on a release like that can
huge.
Wow! Like,
I also think
really
that
helped bolster their comeback story.
It did. It built a lot of goodwill. So now jump ahead to them just doing this Witcher thing for free, unless you're a dummy like me and did it wrong. But it's free for everybody, and it's being praised. Like people are like, this is legit upgrade. This is like a remastered version of The Witcher 3, and they just did it for nothing. I feel like CD Projekt Red is on a bit of a high note right now, which is good.
They're on a win streak. And I think it's because we're used to the idea of game releases, let's release the TV show and make all the hype happen.
Yeah.
But actually, it's kind of like blowing your load early, right? Like you should actually, the game is hype enough.
Yeah.
So when it goes through its half-life period and needs rejuvenation, that's when you release your Arcane or your Cyberpunk. Like during a low point to bring people back to the thing as if you had a release. Because the Cyberpunk sales numbers were like comparable to their launch numbers.
I think they eventually exceeded it. Their concurrent players
like
or something was higher or something like that. Yeah,
no doubt. Right, made a lot of money during the afterglow of the Arcane
guaranteed.
TV show.
Guaranteed.
And so now I'm looking at them like, yeah, why would WoW has a history of releasing animatics like leading up to the expansion? Maybe in a new era. of Blizzard, we see exciting Overwatch, Diablo, Warcraft, StarCraft things like in that realm of media tied at the Half-Life stage of a product release.
Yeah.
Seems
Nothing to do with
seems to
Valve's
be a strategy
Half-Life.
that's working for some companies these
Sure.
days. So.
But Arcane alone, think about the interest that garnered in the story and characters that nobody previously gave a crap about, as a lead up carrot, if you will, to an MMO, which is currently being worked on. Like that
right,
MMO.
That was always what I said about the Riot MMO. Was I was like, well, I like a lot of the people working on this, but who gives a shit about League of Legends lore? And they clearly saw that I was not the only person that felt that way, and they're like, let me show you why you should give a shit about League of Legends lore. And it worked. All of a sudden I was like, oh, this universe seems cool. Characters seem cool. Like, I think they're doing it right. They're laying the foundation for what's to come.
Maybe they saw a blip on the big radar screen in their room that said, "Oh, we got a problem in Arizona right here."
Yep.
He's not happy.
Man, if I show up as a blip whenever there's a problem with something I'm thinking, I'm a blip all the time.
I will say, like, although I enjoyed overall Arcane, I think the first 3 episodes are stronger than the rest. It starts to turn into a cartoon, toy commercial. Maybe, like, it's still high quality.
I liked it all the way through, but I think I can see that.
The first 3 episodes, it just felt like Goonie, like some weird version of the Goonie. Like it's like the best Marvel movies they have that theme or that thing that doesn't feel like we're doing the Spider-Man origin story or some trope.
Right.
That's what I mean. Is like the first 3 episodes, I think, were really inspired. It was just a story about rebellion and the Undercity. Yeah. And now it feels like, well, here's Caitlyn. Caitlyn has a sniper rifle, so let's never see her without a sniper rifle ever again, because that's her hero profile, And it's like, I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I like the whole thing, but I won't deny the first 3 episodes were they hooked me, and then the rest I was happy to consume. But I guess if I look back on it, they weren't like
the animation was still stellar, and it was still good. It's like it went from a 10 to like a 9 for me, And I'm like, if it keeps up, I just want more of what the first 3 episodes had than what the latter 6 is, I guess is what I would say. So,
well, there you have it. Excellent news, everyone. Let's move on to a quick mention of Overwatch Season 2. I like Ramatra a lot, the new hero. He's a big old tank. He has got the best ultimate in the history of the game. That doesn't look much from your perspective, but when other people see you coming with that ultimate going, scary as hell. His ultimate. It's like a giant. What are those balls called where you touch the outsides and electricity comes out and touches your fingers? Testicles.
Oh, you're talking about
Tesla ball. Is it close to testicles?
Something ball. I got one over there.
The one where you touch it and all the electricity comes out.
Makes your hair stand on your
head. That thing. Whatever that's. I know there's a word for it. I can't think of it. Chat room.
It might be Tesla balls. Elon balls.
Elon balls. That's it. Coil. No. Tesla coil. That's what it is. Tesla coil. So it's going. Well, anyway.
We got the ball wrong, not the Tesla part.
He has his ultimate is basically that, but in this giant way where he basically overloads. I forgot the name of the ultimate, but he just everything he touches in a giant radius, big purple radius, just melting people. So you just got to get the F out of there. And from his perspective, it doesn't look like much. It just kind of looks like you're shooting off little rays or whatever. But from the third person, he is a freak. Anyway,
you say anything cool? Like,
yeah, I don't remember though. It's like rebel.
I'll melt your flesh.
He's like, oh, the robots are cool, and so we got to rebel or something. It's something like that. I don't know what it is.
Robots are cool.
Robots are cool. Look out.
Tesla Sphere. That's what it's called. Anyway. He's rad. I like him a lot. He was totally worth the $10 for to get him to start the battle pass. And I've been playing with my son-in-law and my nephews and having a ball. So,
what's the top skin for the battle pass?
He's got. Well, I don't know. Oh, this time around it's the Zeus one.
Because I got the level 80 Genji. Did you max your battle pass out last season?
I shorted it by about 10 levels. I was pissed at myself.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Because you know what's cool about that is it's actually 3 skins in one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
you can change
it's
it.
neat. You can change a whole bunch of features on it. But,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, what's the new one?
Well, it's a good thing I don't like playing him because that didn't make me too sad. It's Junker Queen's Zeus skin.
Oh,
and it has all kinds of crazy shit going on.
Oh, I see it here. She looks like Frozen.
Yeah, she looks awesome. She looks really good in it.
Wait, is that the right one?
I don't know. She's like.
Oh no, that's Brigitte.
Oh,
Never mind,
Brigitte.
wrong character.
Yeah, yeah.
Brigitte has a frozen. That looks pretty dope.
Yeah, there's some pretty good skins this time around. The stuff in the story I haven't looked at because I don't want to be depressed about how much they cost, so I don't look at those. But I'm having fun.
Expensive.
Oh boy, you know who's in every damn meta or is playing in every game I've played is Doomfist is back, baby. That guy's everywhere.
Oh, they give him balance changes.
Yeah,
I unironically was playing Doomfist in mixed matches because he's fun as shit.
He's fun, but he's also
You
buffed.
All you gotta do is spam. You find the right order to spam the buttons in, and you just jump around. Like I can't shoot, I can't defend myself. I just jump around.
It's nutty. He's gone, and everyone's playing him now. So I see him in almost every game, and he's something else. Moira's still a threat on the healer side. Sojourn, they changed something with. Oh no, they gave Hanzo. They make him have when he fires or when he puts the bow in, you have to lower it now. So every time a draw happens, you lower it to aim it and let go. So there's like this little extra time that is kind of a nerf.
Oh, so you can't do the little because one of the things you can do is you can do world's smallest bow with Hanzo, where it's like you put the arrow in, you go tick, and then you get a headshot. And
Yeah. Can't do that anymore. I mean, you can, and you still. It's more of a skill shot now, so you have to
It sounds like it because I know sometimes you get these bullshit shots where you're just like. You barely press the button down, but you get it in just enough that the arrow goes flying. Yeah. Headshots tracer.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, it's going to be a sick replay for them to watch.
Yeah, he's a pud. But also, I guess Sojourn still feels really hard to me. I guess she got some kind of nerf, but she still feels like she's wrecking people. It's okay. I'm not the expert on the meta, but I'm having fun. So continue to like that game. Yeah, it's really good. All right, John. I installed this game, but didn't play it yet because I haven't had time. Tell me all about High on Life, please.
High on Life is a Game Pass game. I think that's an important distinction to make in this case.
It's not worth paying for.
Is that it's a game that you can try for free. Because I actually think so. I played a little bit of it, and I actually really had a good time with it.
Yeah.
But I think that this is probably the closest I've ever gotten in recent history to remember back when there wasn't just it's an indie game or a AAA game, but we had a middle tier of games that came out that were $30 or $40, and you knew you weren't buying Call of Duty, but you weren't also buying a little indie project. You were buying something somewhere in the middle. This feels exactly like that. It is a passable shooter. The shooting feels okay. It doesn't feel bad. Doesn't feel great. And it is a game that is definitely getting by on its humor. And you are either going to like the humor or you are not going to like the humor.
Because this is Justin Roiland, Rick and Morty guy once again doing a thing, right?
Yeah, it's Justin Roiland. And if you like his shtick, you will probably have a good time with this game. If you don't like his shtick, you probably won't. This is the definition of a 3 out of 5 game where it's it depends. If you watch the interdimensional cable episodes of Rick and Morty and you went, I don't like this, then don't play this game. If you thought those were great and you were like, wow, I wish I could play a video game based around this, play that. It's a game for you. I did laugh a lot at this game. I did find it funny. I thought the gameplay was good enough for me to keep playing and play some jokes. I don't feel a tremendous urge to sit down and play this game nonstop. But I think this would be the perfect game to sit down with friends and play with a group of people, assuming everybody's on board for a really crass, vulgar, over the top sense of humor. If everyone's on board for that, this would be a great game with friends.
Sure looks pretty. Nice engine,
Yeah, it looks good. It's definitely it's not a slouch. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad video game or anything like that, but it is definitely going to be for a very specific taste. And it's not such a good shooter or experience that you're well, overlook the humor. Because what's there is so good. That's kind of what I would say about Borderlands. We've had that discussion before. The humor in Borderlands just doesn't really land for me. That's fine. It's subjective. But I think the gameplay and the loot and all of that is such a good experience that I would still say like it's kind of top of the class for that sort of game.
Right.
This doesn't really have that to fall back on. So while I enjoyed the humor more in this, I don't think it's such a fun shooter that I'm going to load this up over, Doom or any other, like getting by on its mechanic shooter.
Right.
But I had a really good time with it. Made me laugh, made my wife laugh while she was in the room playing Fortnite with me. And she kept looking over and going, "What the hell are you doing?" She happened to walk in right at a point where I don't want to say it because it sounds worse than it is. And if you're in the moment, you understand why I did what I did. But she walked in right when No, I killed a kid.
Yeah.
You killed your kid.
No, not my kid.
We're live. Shut it down.
I shot a kid. I
In the
shot
video
a
game,
kid,
in
and they were making a big deal out of the fact that I shot a kid.
Okay.
And she was like, what the hell are you doing right now? And I was like, I'm just playing a game. It's fine.
Wait, did you just shoot the kid, or do you actually slaughtered
I shot him. I shot him in the head. And also, yes, he was like 35. So,
Because he's an alien and they have a different age range thing. And,
yes,
I
it's
see.
true.
yeah, that sounds like. Look, Royland.
Oh my God! Spoilers. Thanks.
Justin Roiland's that other thing he does on Hulu, is it? It's not Rick and Morty. It's his other show.
Oh, Solar Opposites.
I love Solar Opposites.
I think Solar Opposites is better than Rick and Morty.
I do too. I think it's a better
love
product.
Solar Opposites.
And that's weird to say because it's the one thing he does without not Mark Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon. Mark Harmon's not working on it. And that's weird, right? Because I like his Dan Harmon's work, but for whatever reason, I think there's just more heart in with Solar Opposites. And I guess I'm kind of hoping that this has a bit of that since he's since this is just a Roiland joint, it's nobody else.
Yeah, again, it's going to be something where it's like, it's totally subjective. The jokes that land for me are not going to be the jokes that land for other people.
Right.
And there will be other things that other people will find extremely entertaining that, that didn't land for me. But I thought that there was humor to be found in the game, and I was having a good enough time playing the game. I thought the boss battle, I got to the first boss battle, that's basically where I stopped. It was creative. Like, I died to it because I wasn't exactly sure what to do, because it wasn't just they sit there and shoot at the thing. Like, there were mechanics that you had to follow. It was like a, kind of like a first-person shooter WoW fight. It's like, okay, there's this stage, there's this stage. But it's, it's a thing. And I will say that, like, I don't think it's hard for you to know, hearing this, if it's for you or not. I think, Rick and Morty is certainly a good metric. Do you like Rick and Morty? If yes, maybe check it out. If no, I don't think this is gonna maybe be the brand of humor for you.
You do drugs in this game?
All
High on Life. I sort of assumed that there was a
I thought that was gonna be the case because the game literally opens with your sister offering you cocaine. Like, it's like the first thing that happens in this game. In fact, you choose your avatar in the reflection of the cocaine mirror.
All right.
That's where you pick your character, but you don't take the drugs. So I was like,
they're probably trying to meet the ESRB requirements, because with a game called High on Life, I sort of assume, yes, you have the gun that's talking to you on one hand, but you got a finger with coke that you can press a button and go like this with. Like,
it may come up. They talk about drugs a lot in this game. Like, there's a TV with a guy who's like a mayor or something, and he's always talking about like the drug problem, and he's listing all these alien drugs that are a problem, and one of them it's just called space meth. Which I thought was pretty good, that there's apparently an alien drug that's just called space meth.
Space meth's pretty good, yeah.
But
it's from space.
I don't know if it's going to come into being a thing. It might be. But apparently you do. I don't know if you have to kill the kid. His name is Slumsley. I had to look it up. Basically what happens, just full perspective on this. You go down into the sewers, and there's this kid that comes in front of you, and he basically goes, "Hey, fresh meat. Hey, meat. You going down in the sewer, and like he's one of those people where the reticle turns red and you can shoot him if you want. Like there are NPCs that the gun's like, no, we're not gonna just murder people when you try to pull the trigger on them. But he's one you can actually try and shoot, and the gun tries to tell you not to shoot him. But I killed him, and it did make me laugh because like the whole like, are you gonna shoot this kid or not thing wasn't super funny to me. I just thought he was annoying, and that's why I did shoot him. But the achievement for it is called Fallout Doesn't Let You Do This. And I thought that was a nice touch.
That's a very good touch. That's great. He's clearly a gamer. He likes the tropes of it all, and I don't know. I like his sense of humor. I'm gonna play this. It's on Game Pass. Why not? But you're right. It's the perfect Game Pass.
Just try it. It's not gonna be for everybody. This is not an all-around recommendation, but it is. I had a good time with it so far. So, and there's some really fun little meta jokes in there. The game opens with you playing a different first-person shooter video game, where you play as a guy and you get a call from your divorce attorney. He's like your Cortana for the video game.
Yeah. And
you're just fighting your ex-wife's new boyfriends. Because apparently she hooked up with a hive mind, and so now she's sending all of her ex-boyfriends who are technically the same person after you, and you got to kill them all. And it is just, again, if you've watched an interdimensional cable episode of Rick and Morty and heard him just ad-lib stupid bullshit through an episode, it is basically that, because he's just sitting there going, like, yeah, she's dating somebody, it's a hive mind, so it's all technically the one guy, so all those people are technically the same new boyfriend, new husband, you got to kill them all. I'm your attorney, by the way. And just like, it's that same level of delivery from all of that. If that's not your thing, it isn't going to win you over, but I thought it was pretty fun.
Well, all right. I think I'm convinced. I'm in.
Sounds like you should play Midnight Suns.
I'm going to play Midnight Suns.
You should play Midnight Suns as well.
Midnight Suns has become the new, it's for me. I've never seen Parasite, and everyone keeps saying I need to watch Parasite, and I keep saying I will eventually, and I still haven't seen Parasite. So this is the video game equivalent of Parasite now, and who knows where that'll take us. We'll see.
You're also supposed to watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh shit!
Other stuff I'm always
for as long as I've known you, I'm supposed to watch that.
Yeah.
And we're talking like what, 2012 since I
don't even know how it came up the first time, but it's just become a thing.
That movie was almost new.
That movie to you.
Scipio in the chat, I saw Loki. I watched it. Loki is no longer on that list.
Oh, you watched Loki?
Yeah, which means Scipio doesn't listen to the morning stream anymore. But yes, I watched all of Loki.
Quit because you wouldn't watch Loki.
Yeah, we watched all of Loki, and I really liked it. I thought Loki was awesome. I was surprised how much I liked it. It was really good. All right. Well, that's everything we've played, everybody. We're going to take a break. When we come back, some Dear Martha, some other stuff, some news that dropped that's small and, worth talking about briefly, and a few other things, including your emails and texts. So stay tuned. Pause on the thing. All right. We have arrived back from our little break, and now we are going to have a little fun with the Dear Martha segment of the show. John has prepared one. We got images. We got everything for this. John, do you have any special setup for this week's magazine review?
Nope, we'll just get right into it.
All right, here goes. Enjoy. Whoops, I'm on the wrong tab. Here we go.
My dearest Martha, today I bring you a magazine that we've never reviewed before. This one is called Video Games, the ultimate gaming magazine.
Uh-huh.
And you gotta respect a magazine that just names itself after its subject. What I don't respect, or maybe secretly love, is the cover. Like so many 90s magazines, it's just an assault of text, color, and graphics, which the already colorful Power Rangers probably don't help. Specifically though, this is Video Games, issue 66 from July 1994. Inside this magazine seems to be your pretty standard magazine fare, but it does seem unique in a few ways. First, it relies a lot more on turning the magazine horizontal, not just for an image or two, but for entire articles. That's weird. And secondly, there is a strange focus on physical products surrounding games. This isn't terrible, or even too uncommon, but it's just odd because this magazine is the one that declares itself Video Games. the magazine.
Yeah.
Also, I think they tried to review some of the Street Fighter merchandise, and they made a little chart to explain their thoughts. And I don't know if I've ever seen a more confusing chart. It has a company column, an item column, a comments column, and all of that makes sense to me. However, then they have columns for Betty, Eric, and Nikos, who I assume are reviewing it. But there's no text. It's just low-res images of their faces. And I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a lot of toys in this magazine. A lot of them. Before we call it for this very busy magazine, I do want to point out an ad. This is like the 90s version of a teaser trailer. Spoilers for Mortal Kombat 2. But the ad doesn't even mention the game. It's just a bolt of lightning and the phrase, nothing can prepare you. It's such a fun little tease, and I can only imagine being a dumb kid that doesn't have the internet and is just super excited about whatever this could be. Also, I think I can see Shao Kahn in the clouds, but maybe I'm imagining it. But the more I stare, the more I see his face. Anyway, that's it for me this week, Martha. If my chronometer is right, it sounds like you'll be getting this letter around the holidays. But as a time traveler, that means nothing to me. I'm writing this to you in July, on a Tuesday. But, happy holidays, I guess. Yours in time, S. Beckett, 94.
Love it. I do not. So John and I were talking about this pre-show. I do not remember a magazine called Video Games, but the logo and the name, I swear it's like the font that they use for GamePro or something, because it looks really familiar just at a glance. But then you make this point about all the game magazines at the time, they all kind of look like this at a glance. So
yeah, I mean, if you look up Video Games, the Ultimate Gaming Magazine, and look at some of their covers, like, I swear I've seen every one of these covers. Like, and my theory was maybe they just used the stock, like, photos that were available in press kits or whatever, and it was just, they went with the obvious choice, but I swear I've seen all of these.
Yeah, I'm looking at
$4.95 in 1994. Was that 1994?
94, I think. Yeah,
it's an expensive ass magazine for 1994.
You know what they are
now? I will say it's 100 pages long, which is pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot of content. I was telling you earlier, I'd sit on a toilet for a long time.
I mean, for $2 more, I can get a Dragonlance novel.
Yeah, you could.
For like $6.99 back then, you can just go buy a paperback of your favorite fantasy.
Oh my gosh, your screen! I just noticed
then
how
you
much.
got to use your imagination.
Bo has added even more to his screen. We got a big Metzen now behind. Look at this.
Yeah, it's Core Zoo. Yeah, Metzen's been up the whole time. You didn't notice him?
I noticed that, but I didn't. But then everybody else joined him after the break. So,
yeah, after the break, everyone gets added for a chorus of video game delights in my screen.
That's fantastic. All right. Well done. That was awesome as always. We are now going to take a dive into a couple of other news stories that we haven't talked about, but are worth mentioning. The Dead Space remake has gone gold ahead of its January launch, so if you're looking forward to that, that is coming. And I think the mediocre reception of Callisto Protocol probably bodes well for this. People are probably more interested in this thing at this point.
I bought Callisto Protocol. I haven't played it because Midnight Suns is consuming my life. And it sounds like it's going to be the greatest gift to me. It sounds like Midnight Suns is giving me two gifts, a wonderful game and delaying my desire to play the Callisto Protocol until maybe it's a playable experience.
There you go. Yeah. A lot of the problems with that game can be fixed. So that's probably the state that game's in. So I think eventually you'll get a good game to play through. Whether I ever play it or not will depend on whether someone wants to watch me scream and pay for it. All right, next up. That sounded bad. That sounded dirty, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh.
And go to the video game red light district.
That's right. Vampire Survivors paid DLC dropped. Legacy of Moonspell, it's called. It's paid. You got to buy this, which makes sense.
Come on, buy this. It's in my cart. It's,
nice.
It's $1.79 on sale right now. It's
no brainer.
It's normally $2. Now it's $1.79.
I downloaded Vampire Survivors on my phone. I told you I was going to do that because they released a mobile version of the game.
Yeah.
And it's the same game, except you're just moving around with your thumb. And it's vertical.
Yeah.
And it plays just like Vampire Survivors, all the music, all the stuff. The one difference is when you die, you can watch an ad to revive yourself.
Really?
Yep. So no ads during the game. There's no other times in the game where you're like,
brilliant.
The ads don't interrupt you at any time that I've played. However, if you die, which the point I feel like it's not great because in the game, the point is, oh, you died. Okay, go back, spend some money, improve your dude, go try again. This says, you want to give it another shot? Just watch this ad for some shitty match.
Yeah, but you as a gamer gets it. Like, this is aimed at people who play mobile games and mobile experiences. You're like, but wait a minute, that's not how the video game should work. And they're like, we know.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think this is to funny and maybe a little bit trolly.
Like that extra incentive for them to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They earn revenue when you die. That means they're trying to kill you. Maybe it's a really hard game and worthy of the challenge. Though.
Maybe. I've gotten better at these games, clearly, because I went forever on my first run before I died. And that's when I saw the pop-up that said, hey, you want to watch an ad? I'm like, no, I really don't.
Then you're dead. Then you're dead, Scott.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'd rather go fire you up on a proper console or a PC.
So you played that instead of Midnight Suns?
Well, only like 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't very long.
Oh, okay.
And only one time.
Sorry, I don't mean to be so critical.
No, it's all good. I'm going to play that damn game just so I
play Midnight Suns.
I can say I did it. Speaking of Marvel Spider-Man 2 launches. This I didn't even know this was being made. It makes sense though. But Spider-Man 2, sequel to the very popular Spider-Man and Miles Morales follow-ups, will be out in fall of 2023 on PlayStation 5. They didn't say 4, so I think maybe this is the year Sony says, yeah, we're not making last-gen ports of everything. And it's easier to get PS5s now, so I think that's where we're at with that.
I mean, I have one now, so it must be easy.
Yeah,
I think I might get one.
You might. You very well might.
Today marks the first day that I PS5 interest showed a little blip. You know, in a movie when someone's flatlined for a while and everyone's in suspense. Will he live? Will he live?
Yeah.
And you hear a little beep, beep. And that beep today was interest in purchasing a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, because you want to play Village.
Scott,
that's why.
You know what the answer to this question is.
I know, but Resident Evil Village or 8 is getting a VR mode for free as a downloadable DLC for free, and that's happening. I thought on PC as well. No,
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think it's a PS2 VR exclusive.
Actually, it might be.
And it's not just going to be, a port. You're going to have hand controls. This is important. You'll be able to interact with your hands, various things in the environment. I know everyone's thinking about Green Lady. Maybe you'll interact with those two. I don't know how that's going to play out. But
Green Lady?
Dimitri Sue.
Green. Why is she not green though? She just sounds...
Well, I just mentioned you'll be able to interact with everything with your hands, and the first thing I think of is her breasts.
Big boob lady.
It's like, she's like, pardon me, dear. This is a horror game, not one of those games.
Get out of here.
But I'm like, okay. And it's also in conjunction with something I only experienced on my own, which was someone did try out PS2 VR. It was a Reddit post, so who knows if it was fiction or not. But they were saying the experience is a lot better than the MetaQuest in terms of graphical fidelity and what they're throwing at this machine.
Yeah, and the eye tracking stuff and the
and I'm like,
and all that.
I'm all like, they like it's comparable to PC VR. That's early indication. And I read that and go, yeah, Quest 2 graphics kind of like really down res to have to do PC VR games. There aren't a ton of them. PlayStation going full bore on a catalog of AAA titles. Also, Sony has a reputation for their hot, awesome exclusives.
Yeah.
So it might be
a thing you want.
How much you need to save up enough money for 2 PS5s, and you'll be able to do it.
Yeah,
well,
because that's the cost of it. Here's the thing,
the only thing I'm concerned about is I want to stream my experiences. I got to figure out how to stream PS2 VR.
There'll probably be a way. But so Data Miner found some clues suggesting that the Steam and Oculus releases are also being considered. They data mined something and found references to those devices or to those platforms. So you may be able to play it in there as well. But yeah, it looks like a PlayStation 5 PSVR 2 day one launch. and Bo might have it for the low price of 5,000 Canadian dollars.
Well, I mean, it depends if PS2 VRs can be plugged straight into your PC as well. I just don't think they're going to try and make these games compatible. Like, they'll make them run on PC just fine. But I know from running Alex and other games, you sometimes got to load up custom Quest controls because it's designed for the Index. Like, there's that tension. I can't play Doom VR. Doom VR is designed for Index. And, like, I try to customize the controls, and certain variables don't exist to strafe left and right in that game. It's super annoying. I can't play it. You know, so anyways.
Well, I'm very curious about that. So maybe you'll be the guy that gets it of the group, and you can review all the PSVR games.
How much would we have to pay you for you, Scott, to play it?
To play this? They'd have to give
have
me.
to buy him a PSVR 2 to start.
Yep, and the game.
Yeah, let's get it out there. Ladies and gentlemen, you want Scott to experience the pinnacle of fear. You're going to have to open your wallets.
Hold on. Would you play it if somebody bought you a PS VR 2 and this game? Would you play it?
And how much extra money?
Okay, we have to confirm, first of all, that I can stream it. I assume we can because PlayStation 5 has built-in streaming capability straight to Twitch, so it probably just does. Assuming that's all true, they'd have to get me the PlayStation VR 2, and they'd have to get me a copy of that game for that device for me to play it.
And then
Patreon goal.
I would do
it. People are suggesting Patreon goal.
Everyone says that.
Oh, it can't be a Patreon goal because then he's got to split it with us.
Yeah, I'm not going to saddle you people with that anyway. You guys are nice and supportive.
I'll shave off some of mine.
I want some.
I'll put my money where my mouth is.
I want some benevolent.
I got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, John needs it. I'm gonna look.
I'll give. John won't give some of his money. I'll give some of his money.
I'll do the benevolent freaking. Somebody out there who's just like, oh yes, my stocks are doing well today. I could pee more money than this stupid VR thing, so I'll just buy it. Somebody like that, belly up. Let me know. Hook me up, and then I'll play it. Otherwise, not a chance in hell I'm playing that game again.
And I will tell you, for anybody doubting, Scott does not actually want you to do this.
No, I don't.
I will confirm.
Oh, yeah, no, this isn't some trick.
He is not hoping that you do this for him.
This isn't some kind of trick to get people to do it. I really don't. So anyway,
speak for yourself. I'm trying.
I mean, I've been told
and I'm the first one to rush to your defense.
Yeah,
but when an opportunity of like this presents itself, it's hard.
It's hard
to say. By the way, nice suggestion there for Patreon goals. We got some requests for 2 cores a week.
Oh Lord,
we should maybe talk about it.
That's
not a bad idea.
I would do it in a heartbeat if we can get the numbers where we want them. I would totally do that.
Yeah.
Core is
nice one there, Rhino Kenny.
Core is awesome. We love Core. All right, now this right here.
That's a good question.
We got some email from a listener named Dan. He wrote in to talktothecore@gmail.com and says this: Hey guys, just wanted to chime in on the topic of collector's editions that don't include an actual game. He's bringing this up because there's like a hot topic right now around the Diablo 4 release. We talked about that a bit last week, but the game does not include a code or a disc. It is just Diablo swag.
Well, the collector's box does not include a copy of the game.
Yeah.
Which it's called the collector's box, although they haven't done any favors because even internally they have called it a collector's edition.
It's a paradigm shift.
Which does imply that there's a copy of the game in it.
It's a paradigm shift, and nobody's good at remembering the change. So that's what's really throwing people off. Anyway, he goes on to say the main reason a lot of studios have shifted to this model in recent years is logistics. And I agree with this. It allows players to purchase the CE goods regardless of what platform they end up playing the game on. And it means the publisher doesn't have to manufacture different versions of the collector's edition for every platform they ship on. It also lets them avoid situations like Street Fighter 4, where Xbox 360 collector's edition sat on shelves for years because most of the people were serious enough about the game went and got the CE and played it on PlayStation 3. That was actually one of the because of the stupid it was that horrible D-pad on the 360 controller that kept all those fighter games away. Anyway, says Dan, I agree with him. I think it's 100% it. Plus, they don't have the code fraud you sometimes get. The problem with people, what do you call it when you sell scalping tickets? Basically scalping codes for too much money. Now, they'll still do that with the boxes themselves if they're limited, but that...
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I think that should include a copy of the game.
Yeah, but it's priced also to not include the price. Like it's $50 less than they used to be with the copy
Yeah,
of the
but
game.
also as a counterpoint,
Yeah.
what if it just included a copy of the game?
Yeah, John's being that guy.
I don't have a problem with the change. It's just a paradigm shift. It doesn't bother me at all, like in the least. But
Everything this emailer said, everything you've said makes a fine amount of sense, but what if it included a copy of the
Well,
I
game?
mean, I get it, man. I still wish my boxed games included floppy disks. I think the high point of buying games in boxes included 52 floppy disks inside because, I just like the floppy, like the hard 3.5.
yeah. Well, they haven't
Not
done that
the
in
full
years.
5.1 floppy, but the smaller, just
Three-
like buying Space Quest or whatever, and it had 7 cassettes or 7 discs in it. It
Yeah.
just
No, I miss those
and
days too.
Ultima, I think 5 had like the cloth map and a nice instruction book. Like there were some great boxes, and I miss those great boxes.
I like the boxes too, but I have no problem buying the game separately and buying this separately because it's priced accordingly. It's fine.
But what if, Scott? What if it also just came with a copy of the game?
Well, then
And it doesn't even. Here's the thing. They're going to get you on their launcher, right? If it's
Yeah.
a PC version of the game, don't make console exclusives. Just say also includes a digital download code for the PC version of Diablo 4. And if you want a different version, then guess what? You do have to go buy the other version of the game, which you would have had to have done anyway. But then nobody can complain because you included a copy of the game in the thing.
Yeah.
Just include a copy of the game.
I
Like,
understand.
It's a digital code,
I
and
get
it's
it.
going to put people in your ecosystem. Just put the game in there.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank John for. I feel like I'm usually the most unreasonable one on an episode, so I'd like to thank John for being the most
yeah, he took the
unreasonable
torch.
person this week.
Yeah.
I know, what an unreasonable take. What if you put a copy of the game in the thing that everybody thinks is a digital deluxe version of a game?
Well,
Just put the game in it. It's not hard. Just put it in
yeah,
there.
but your logic says that when I go buy my next air
Wait, let
conditioner,
him cook. That's what the kids say now. Let him cook.
my next air conditioner needs to contain a game and all the DLC. Like, does everything need to have a game
no,
code in it?
it's just, but this collector's edition of Diablo 4 would have a copy of Diablo 4 in it.
Well, it's called a collector's box. So
Yeah, but they're calling it a collector's edition.
I mean, I actually think they're going to learn from this stupid mess, and they're never going to do this again. They'll have
Tell
it,
you
but
what,
they'll name
I'll
it right.
stop telling them they have to include a copy of the game, or they should, when they stop calling it a collector's
Okay,
edition
fair enough.
by mistake.
I like that. I
What
actually like
does
that.
your wife do when you get like this? Just so we know for
He
the
just
future.
walks to another room. That's me being
Gets
mad.
the
Oh, we
H
can't
out.
do that. We have a podcast.
I
today.
just get mad about stuff sometimes.
You know
I got
what?
Mad
Fair
about,
enough.
Yeah.
I got mad about the Cars movies today, and she had to listen to a whole lecture about it.
You don't want to know what I think.
There's a whole thing. I was like, this whole. I actually compared it to World of Warcraft. I was like, the whole Cars franchise reeks of overcorrection based on feedback.
That's actually true. I agree with that. I think that first
See?
movie's great.
See?
I think that first movie's great. I think that second movie is horrendous, and I think the third movie's better, but I don't like why it's better. Because it's a giant course correction, and it kind of pisses me off.
It feels like it. The first one just feels like they pushed the pendulum way too far in one direction because they're like, well, the first thing didn't work out great, except financially because they made a ton of money.
You did fine.
And then they were like, oh, people didn't like the weird Mater spy movie focus thing. Well, let's push that pendulum way back in the other direction. And anyway, yeah. So she had to hear that lecture today, and now so did all of you.
Yeah, so did all of you. Don't you feel better for it? Or do you want to hear a text? Here's a text. I got one right here. This is from a listener named Terrell, like Terral. Wanted to thank Bo, he says. I assume it's a he. He says, I now tell my wife and everyone else I know that I'm making a lake run when I have to poop.
Great.
Good job, Bo.
Yes. I'm so happy.
Maybe this is how I'll finally get my own Wikipedia page.
Please give Bo a Wikipedia page, damn it. And have it be all about the lake run.
That's right.
Isn't that great, though? I love that. I love that people are using this as a term because everyone says, oh, I got to see a man about a horse, or I got to go drop kids off at the pool or whatever. But now they can say, I need to go take a lake run. It's a great thing. It's great.
I'm just waiting for the day someone finds a floater in a lake and just goes, Bo must have been here.
Yeah, Bo was here.
Bo was here.
Wait, I see this lake. There's a link There's an entry for Lake Run. Oh, but it's not about pooing.
Oh, then they'll have to do a disambiguation link in there, and then go to a different place. That's how they do that now, on the Wikipedia. All right, now we can do something pretty special. The mashup boy has been at it, and he's been putting together end of year best ofs.
And Jamie's been working hard.
He has.
Teasing hard.
He really has. And today is no different. In fact, today, look at this. I'm putting up the bad now. We get the John Jagger best of 2022 memorable moments, one-liners, and laughs.
That's me complaining about the Cars franchise.
Yeah,
you're on a trading card, dude.
I feel like it's a badge. Like, ma'am, get out of your car. I'm John Jagger.
Official core representative. I don't know if you know, but one-liners and laughs.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can wear that next time there's a BlizzCon. You can put your BlizzCon pass and then this pass there. People,
it's a tap. But do you know who I am?
When the security guards are like, "Yeah, you can't come in," or whatever kind of bullshit they're up to, because I never believe they're doing their jobs correctly at BlizzCon. You'd be like, "I'm John Jagger," see?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh, it looks official."
Yeah, big time. But also, I want to make sure we shout out John Tazarek, who worked with him. He's the one that did the really cool fake core magazine covers.
Oh yeah.
He helped him with this as well. So big shout out to him as well. That guy's awesome. All right, here it is. John's end of year best of. Enjoy.
John Jagger. He's played 30 games this year, and they were all Final Fantasy XIV. Absolutely loves mobile games.
Hold on a second.
That's
Liam O'Brien. They got Liam to do it. I didn't even talk to him.
Are you sure, or is that a really good? It's him.
No,
that sounds like him.
That's freaking Liam. I'm losing my shit here. All right. Anyway, here you go.
His Dear Martha Steam reviews with Martha rebuttals are always good for a laugh. He's the bald one. He loves Final Fantasy dragons, while Scott loves Elder Scrolls dragons. This was Dragon Beef, and apparently has an adorable new baby boy. Not that he's biased. He's biased. While he conjures up the next Dear Martha segment, let's remark on the best moments from our resident new, very biased dad of the bunch.
Oh my god.
I know what jizz is.
Well, you might have
Let
done
me
that
be clear.
to egg Scott
I
on.
know what jizz is. I have no questions about it. What it feels like is, when you make a customized character in a game and
Sure.
it's got sliders.
Yeah,
and
penis,
you go,
like a penis slider.
You go,
yeah.
let me try moving the nose shape. And you go, oh, no, that's not it. And you move it back, and you're 100% certain you put it back where it was. And you're like, the whole face is f***ed. Like, what happened? Their consolation will be an Xbox.
Yeah, you'll still get the Xbox, but you'll have to face down the oily pipe of John's.
That's what they called me in high school, the oily pipe. And also back then there was only one flavor. Look at all these fancy flavors.
Oh, they've got
back
so
in my
many.
day there was only one flavor of balls, and it wasn't very good. You Google when you want to know how to cook shepherd's pie,
Yeah.
but you Bing if you want to see a shepherd's pie. When I was in middle school sometime, I had a girlfriend, and she was over at my house, and she looked at me and she goes, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I want you to come in with me.
No! Do you think anybody's ever put their wiener in a roll of toilet paper, the roll part?
Yes, absolutely.
My gosh, you started so softball. I'm like hornet's nest, bottle of glass, barbed wire. You're like in the tube that's right next to the toilet where your pants are down already anyway.
Really?
Shit, it was moist again. Oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Feel whatever.
Okay.
It's fine.
Everything's ephemeral. Ephemeral.
Effing Muriel.
Ephemeral. Everything's ephemeral. It's fine. If it makes the service better.
up because you ordered cookies from Amazon. But fine, if you're gonna talk like that, I'm gonna go back to my house. house and eat them on my own.
That's right.
Here's what I thought. You're going where you think this is going. I thought we were gonna sneak in and make out in the bathroom, and it was gonna be it was gonna be awesome. This is gonna be great.
It would be much easier for me to forgive my Echo if she talked like that.
I'm experiencing an error. I've decided to turn off and on your lights to let neighbors know you might not be able to order more of our products.
Ew, gross, bum, get away from me.
That's all I wanted to say.
Is that based on The Boys? Is that a
I
product
like
tie
it
into
too.
The Boys?
It's supposed to taste like space.
I wish there was a drink called Spoit. Oh my god. Knock off Sprite.
Grandma's going to the home. She'll be okay. You can visit her, and pay for the stuff still. So,
Yeah, and give her money. It's a reverse grandma.
Yeah, reverse grandma. I'm sure other people had worse because you could watch all sorts of movies.
Did anyone look at you and go,
No, but the old guy next to me scooched away a little bit.
Scooched away?
Yeah, he
No,
scooched.
be like you don't want to see boobies on an airplane. Shut up.
Him and his wife.
She goes into the bathroom and then I slip in. She shuts the door and again I'm like, oh, it's gonna get sexy in here. And she's like, go stand in the shower.
What?
And I was like, okay, seems like what I have in mind could be done right here. And she's like, I'm gonna shut the door because I'm shy. And I was like, what's gonna happen? And then she took a poop.
Wait. Really? So you were standing in the shower and she took a poo and you...
I forgot that was this year. Oh my gosh, dude, that was great.
Oh my gosh. I always hoped that we could transition from Liam O'Brien, amazing voice actor.
That Liam?
That was Liam. I just got confirmation.
The hell out of
Yeah.
person I think is great. Talking about me and my son and just going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What a phenomenal nerd moment. Immediately followed by me going, I know what jizz is.
Yeah, it was right away, too. It was right away.
Someone I admire is participating in a thing back to something I do. And it's
I just got confirmation. He just wrote me back. I said, is this you doing voice things? We're on live in the air right now. And
my God, Jamie.
He did it. I don't know how Jamie worked that out, but geez.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Isn't that great? Who knows what'll happen next week? I have no idea what Bo's going to get. No idea.
I don't know. I'm scared now.
Oh, that was so
Be
good.
Phil Spencer. I heard you were talking shit about me. Well, let me tell you what I think about you. You look like you eat too much, stay up too late, and you're single and a loser. Enjoy your segment, bitch.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I think that's great. I knew Liam listened to the show as well, so he, this stuff is.
Wow,
great.
that's so impressive. Like I'm just kind of speechless and mind blown. And then yes, we talked about jizz and
right away
the shower. I think
away.
the part he edited.
Jizz.
My favorite part was the part where because he edited the story in little segments. So there's just this one little sliver where the girl's like, the girl invited me into the bathroom. And Scott's like, no! Like there's very little context and it sounds so funny. Like that's a terrible. Scott's like, that's a bad idea.
Oh, that was so good. I loved it.
He knew.
Wow, I have to listen to that again.
Now I know what we're to expect though. At least one big lake poop story for Bo tomorrow or next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's happening.
The lake poo must be included.
If I'm going to be the lake poo guy on the internet and it's going to be viral, I want a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. He wants it to be as viral as that lake is after he left his poo in there.
do it. Let's do it officially. I can't do it myself. It's not.
Yeah, let's make it real. Now, let me ask people this. Do you like this show? Did you just have a great time like we did? I know we did. Did you? Well, if you did, then I got a great place for you to go. Patreon.com/core show. Listen to these new people that joined this week. Just since last show. We got Plums. We got Jason. Yep. We got Nick O, which I assume is Offerman. He's been on a couple of shows. We're going to just assume
probably.
The actor,
probably Nick Offerman.
Yeah, it's probably the actor and writer Nick Offerman.
Doing woodworking and then listening to our show while he works with wood.
Yep. Dennis, Damon, which I assume is from the House of the Dragon. He's, different kind of deal he's into right now. Nick.
I'm Damon.
Kane or Cyan. How do you say that? There's a way to say that in it's an Irish thing. C-I-A-N. Sean?
Is it Sean?
Is it Sean?
I think so.
But
Like
only-
yeah, I know. It's like like Celtic. I can't remember. But Siobhan is like Siobhan, but you're like it's Siobhan. Like
Siobhan,
where's all this syllabic energy coming from?
Syllabic energy. That might be our title today. Syllabic energy. I like that.
Syllabic energy.
I don't know how to spell it.
It's just like it's like I could just put an assemblage of letters that make no sense and then just say that's Matthew.
I like that.
You're like, but how?
Oh, and finally, I forgot to mention him, Cassidy, also. So the new cowboy on Overwatch has decided to support us as well.
Yep. Nice.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it. If you never want to hear ads, if you want to have pre-show content every single week, which is, especially lately, I think our stuff's been really amazing. And other monthly benefits, it's a great place to sign up today. Patreon.com/core show. That's going to do it for the show. We need this old lady over here to tell us what we played so that people won't complain about how we didn't mention names of games often enough. So, Grandma, take it away.
Well, in case you missed the video games that the boys played, there were a few. Surprisingly few for a show that's 3 goddamn hours long, but Bo and John played Marvel Midnight Suns. They talked about that for a while. Scott played The Witcher 3. Which is good, because he was playing it before, but now they patched it so he can experience half with a patch and half without a patch. Good for him. He also played World of Warcraft Dragonflight because his friend asked him to. And he's also playing more Overwatch 2. Likely also because his friend asked him to. John played High on Life. Nothing to say about that. And he also played Portal with RTX, which they didn't talk about. So if you're thinking, boy, when did John talk about that? He didn't. It's because Scott decided the show was too long and he didn't want to hear about it. So I'll talk about it and say Portal with RTX is pretty and it's Portal. And Portal's a good game. There, we talked about it.
Nice.
That's what they played.
Oh, very nice. I forgot. I didn't know we skipped over that. I feel a little bad about that.
Yeah, you skipped over my section entirely.
Well, you only
Midnight Suns.
But you only have Midnight Suns on there.
But
Bo didn't get a section at
I was
all.
worried there'd be listeners being like, "What's up with Bo not having a section?" We just went straight to the thing.
Yeah. Well,
fine.
yeah, because we added up
Now,
in the joint
everyone
thing.
knows. I just played Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
That's all I played.
And there's nothing wrong
That's
with
how
that.
good this game is. It is very good.
Yeah.
Did it mention the game's good?
It's good. I think it's good. So good that I'll play it is what's going to happen. Well, let me go warm up my $80 or whatever it costs. Anyway, so there's that's that. Hey, I hope you guys had fun. I sure did. And we want to do this again next week where we give you our favorite games of the year. Are we going to do it next week or the week after that? We decided? Because we still have
I don't know.
I will
Let's-
figure it out.
Because the
So
Thursday
if we have
after
2 more
Christmas,
Thursdays.
right?
Let's
We
not
have
commit to
we have
anything
next
on
week,
the
and then
air.
we have the Thursday before New Year's. Should we do it on that one?
I think
don't
I'm
think
good to do
that
shows
one.
on both weeks. I don't know if
Yeah.
you want to take a week off, but I'm good to
I'm good
record
for all of
shows on
it.
both
Yeah,
weeks.
I am too.
Yeah, I think.
So
I
then
think
if
I'm
we
in the
do it
same boat.
right, I think we either do it on the 29th or we could even wait to the first week of January because the year's not done
Yeah.
until January 1st.
Yeah,
so,
what if a really good gaming experience happens on the 30th or the 31st?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll
I mean,
think
that is prime gaming time. It,
It
sounds
truly
like I'm
is.
being sarcastic, but I can't help it. That's
No,
my
but
voice.
because the way we do it, some of the categories are probably going to be best we played in 2022. So
Yeah.
in theory, Scott still has time to break open Half-Life 2 and experience it this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. Haven't played that since 2004. Time to crack that thing open again.
I mean,
all
I
right.
played it again this year in VR.
That's right, you did. Well, don't worry, everybody. We'll figure it out. This little meeting brought to you by us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Go play some games. We'll talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Just the reinforcements I needed.
Oh, okay.